Ooh, I tell her get low, gon' rock with me. You gon' mess around now and get a shopping spree. I'm now in your possession like apostrophe. Ooh, enough with all the talking, I just told her say less and do more, do more, do more, do more. Ooh, I tell her do more, do more, do more, do more. Go ahead, set the mood right, dirty like a food fight. You been working all day, load it up in 2 nights. Do more, do more, do more, do more. Ooh, I tell her, yeah. And she gon' work that right. I'ma mess around and drown when she drop that down. No more phone me blowing up, I like not right now. Oh, I swear that she ain't nice the way she work that mouth. Whoa, automatic cause she move, she be cousin static. I be straight up like an addict, might be coming at it. Now I gotta have it, had enough with all the moves, yeah, move here. Ooh, let me grab it now, I'm on 1 year. Now I'm not done yet, told her wait right here. I'll be back one sec, this is just time out, this is not no way. Go and grab that friend, then you know what's next stage. You been rockin' with an all-star, baby, and I know you coming early like a false-star, baby. Packing out the seat, this ain't no hostile, baby, and they know me in the city like a mob star. Ooh, I tell her get low, gon' rock with me. You gon' mess around now and get a shopping spree. I'm now in your possession like apostrophe. Ooh, enough with all the talking, I just told her say less and do more, do more, do more, do more. Ooh, I tell her do more, do more, do more, do more. Go ahead, set the mood right, dirty like a food fight. You been working all day, load it up in 2 nights. Do more, do more, do more, do more. Ooh, I tell her, yeah.
Hey, yo, Jay, can we get some ratchet one time?
Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peace, you gon' see the flex when you hear these writtens. Trust me, you know the difference. I got a long ways to climb before you see a slippage. I see the process and the journey I'm supposed to be, but perplexed, cause I don't really see nobody close to me. Hopefully this ain't wasted, and I know it ain't. You gotta take the time for seasoning to marinate. You need the patience under pressure just to detonate. I'm trying to blow up and these heathens need to get it straight. Gifted with a vision and precision, I'm just trying to make it high key. Might be breaking free like I was Zion in some Nikes. Tucked at the crib, bro, you know just where to find me. Making beats and spitting crack verses pretty likely, yeah. Socks with the burst, boy, I ain't changed a bit. Normal guy till I die, you know what it is. You probably thought I'd give up now that I got some kids, but really now I got these arrows aiming at your ribs. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas. Hey, please be on the notice, these my motives. Bought my chicken and it's rotis. You parsimonious, you take it all cause you a locust. My focus is to grow this mission. A visionary, get a dictionary. We here off the ribbon, we ain't sharing, we just caring. Let me speak it to the manager. We damage her, no you ain't messing with an amateur. I'm ramming, the competition ain't standing up. They fanning from left to right cause now they branded us. Now who that is? Mike Jones, they ain't want me now, they all on me. Got counterfeits trying to play me, I guess they thinking I'm Sony. These big head dummies showing up and out of their character. Homie, you need a price cause without it the squad ain't hearing you. Top of that, we ain't fearing you. We swinging for the fences with the sting of a left hook that connects with Sonny Liston. I'm dismissing any and all of the disrespect. Nonetheless, it ain't a threat, I'm just letting y'all know who's next. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the start, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas, you gon' see the...
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Whether Bitcoin's pumping or dumping, we're here, baby. And Bitcoin decided to take a quick little drop to the downside here, guys, hitting that value area low, sitting at about $94,861. What is going on? Is Bitcoin going to zero, guys? Or are we? Yo, shout out to All Sports. Says, I hate my life. Guys, I know Bitcoin's going down, but we're going to break down the price action for you guys. We're going to give you those key levels of support. Are we about to see a bigger drop to the downside? If you guys have been keeping up with the live streams here for the past couple of weeks, or I guess week or so, you guys know there are some things on Market Cypher B on the higher time frames calling for a potential continuation to the downside. But is the bull market over? Or are we just looking for a small pullback before getting a macro higher low and a continuation to the upside? We're going to be covering it all in tonight's live stream. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys for spending your precious time here with the Candle Mafia. Smash that like button. Every 100 likes gives you guys some free chances or some extra chances to win some free crypto, guys. We gave away a ton of Solana on Friday's giveaway last week. And we also gave away a bunch of Cardano, so smash up that like button. 1,000 likes is the goal. If we hit 1,000 likes, we will be giving away $100 in Solana on Friday's live stream. So let's see if we can get there. Let's see what we got in the chat. Shout out to the Candle Mafia. We got, let's see, Clay in the chat says, Sailor sold everything. Maybe that's what caused the dump. Shout out to you, bro. Welcome in. We got Al Jr. as always says, it's like the market sees the show start and goes like, ish, pump, pump, pump. Let's go. Hopefully this live stream can get Bitcoin. Guys, everybody buy Bitcoin right now to send this thing back to the higher prices. We got Terry Darling in the chat. What is going on? Welcome in. Says, yo, Don Frankie Candles. What's up, Candle? What's up, Candle Boss? It's time to cook. Bring the sauce. Shout out to Terry. Thank you for being here. We got P. No Diddy. The No Diddy is important there, guys. We got Glenn in the chat. Said 83K incoming. We're going to talk about those lower prices. Quarter Crawler. Good to see you in here. We got Nirvana. Pennywise, everybody's favorite clown. We hope he's friendly. 12 Big in the chat. Said, send her down, baby. Send her down. 80K, 80,700. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about some of those levels. K Diggity in the chat said, okay, I just bought $3 worth. Don't let me down, guys. Shout out to K Diggity. If we all buy $3, maybe we can push it up just a little bit. But thank you guys all for tuning in. And we got a lot here to look at on the charts, guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. So here we are, guys, on the good old Bitcoin chart, and obviously we did get a drop to the downside here. Now this is obviously, we are bing-bonging around in our volume profile here, guys, which is, I don't want to say it's nice, meaning that, you know, price is going to pump because we're in this volume profile, but it is nice because we have some context into what is likely to happen next here on price. Now, obviously, guys, you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to go ahead and start off on the higher time frames, and I want to cover some of these higher time frame signals that we're seeing pop up on the chart that we've been looking at, keeping an eye on, potentially pointing to a continuation to the downside. Real quick, guys, before I get into that, shout out to 3 Diglets. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He said crypto is dead, okay? DED, dead. Shout out to 3 Diglets. What is going on, bro? Thank you so much for the super chat. And Jesse, shout out to you, bro. He said, here we go. Let's go. Shout out to Jesse. Thank you for being here. He is our like police guy. So if he asks you to hit the like button, touch it with your butt, hit it with your elbow, headbutt it. I don't care what you do. Neither does Jesse. But if he asks you to hit the like button, you got to do it if you want some free Solana. But here we are, guys, right? As you know, some of the things we've been looking at on these higher time frames on Market Cypher B is the red dots printing. Not only here, we now have it on the weekly here, which, again, is somewhat of a bearish sign, right? When we see those weekly red dots, oftentimes we do get pullbacks in the market. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that 100K was the top and we're going down to zero, right? So in the long term, right, like, it's really funny. Everybody gets so bearish. Everybody gets so bearish. And again, we are going to look at the bearish case here and, kind of the worst case scenario, in my opinion, for Bitcoin. I'm going to give you guys, like, the whole rundown here, right? We're going over the short term. We'll go over the long term first, and then we'll zoom into the lower time frames, talk about what we're looking at here. But, at the end of the day, guys, like, this is not, in the grand scheme of things, a very big drop to the downside, right? Obviously, we got that big, crazy liquidation wick here back on Thursday that brought us down to about 90K. There is a possibility that we come down and fill this wick. We're going to talk about that in a second. But as you guys know, these higher time frame red dots have been popping up on the chart, potentially indicating a continuation to the downside here. But again, not necessarily calling for zero here just yet, at least. But, these red and green dots, remember, guys, they indicate the ebbs and flows in the markets, right? You have a red dot, green dot, red dot, green dot, red dot, green dot, red dot, green dot, right? But the overall trend is going to be indicated by the money flow. You can see here, ever since the money flow crossed over into the green here on the weekly, it has been a macro uptrend with your high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, right? So the overall trend right now is still intact, right? Now, you might say to yourself, well, Frankie, what happened? We broke the low here with this wick. That is a wick, right? This as we were looking at, was very likely just a liquidity grab before bringing price back up. Now, that doesn't mean that we're just going to go straight up to higher prices. But, technically right now, it doesn't mean it's going to continue. But technically right now, we are still holding some higher lows here in the grand scheme of things, right? So, this little pullback right now is not necessarily calling for zero. Now, doesn't mean it can't turn super bearish. But as of right now, we're just still kind of hovering up here, right? We're still kind of in that same range, which gives us that nice volume profile that we were just looking at, which I will unhide right now, right? So we have this beautiful volume profile that we bing-bonged around at, hit the low, went up into the high, took that $100,000 level. We got that failed auction back into the range, and then once you get stuck back into that range, you get stuck under that value area high, you look to go to the POC and the value area low. Obviously, we had that massive liquidation wick to the downside, but overall, we closed back inside this volume profile, where we got back above the POC, back into the value area high, deviated above, couldn't get accepted out of that range, got sucked back in, rejected the value area high, and once again, we got to move to that POC, as we were looking at in the premium Discord earlier today. We got to move down to that POC, and then lost that POC, and we got that move right back down to that value area low, where we did actually get a beautiful, beautiful little bounce here. Now, I don't mean beautiful as in this is definitely going to rip us up to 100K, but we did get a very, very strong bounce here. So now, I wouldn't be putting too much weight on that. I don't want that to sound like, oh my God, guys, this was a beautiful bounce, we're going higher, but I just mean we had a pretty aggressive bounce from that value area low, where we did have a long setup in the Discord. However, we didn't stick around there for very long, right? So I actually did not take that long position, as there was no confirmations, and I do not set limit orders for the most part, right? Sometimes I do set limit orders, but for the most part, I don't set limit orders, guys, because the way I trade is essentially I like to come into those levels, and I like to see those confirmation signals before I actually take a position. And when you have those limit orders set, sure, you can get in. I was talking to the premium Discord, like, I didn't take this trade because there was really no confirmation, in my opinion, and as we just came down super quick. But if you had limit order set, this is like one of those situations where it does play out very, very nicely. We had that dipped into the setup, and then we just got that big bounce to the upside, putting us in instant profit, or anyone in the Mafia that had the limit order set in instant profit. Not me, because I didn't take the trade. But this is, we're just back at that value area low. We got the bounce. And at this point, guys, this is our main volume profile, right? We have the value area low sitting at 94,950, right? And then the POC sitting up here at about 98,173. Value area high sitting up here at about 99,729. This is an old profile, an old fib poll, but this remains our major range here, right? So I'm actually going to get rid of this purple box just for now. If we wind up, this is still support, right? And this is why we look for longs at the lows, shorts at the highs, right? Like, this is not the area to be looking for a short position, right? When you come down into these value area lows, Sure, can you lose this range and come much lower? Absolutely, right? But this is not where you typically want to short, right? You want to short as price deviates above the volume profile, right? When you're above the volume profile, this is letting you know, right? Obviously, with the value areas inside the volume profile is your fair value for Bitcoin, right? When you deviate above, this is where you want to start looking for shorts because you're looking at this as an overvalued asset. And then at that point, if you can get the pullback and get accepted back into your range, which you can see we did get perfectly right here, we came back down. We barely retested that value area high, and then we get to the POC and the value area low. Obviously, huge liquidation wick, but we closed back inside here, came back up, tried to deviate out, couldn't get in, right, or couldn't get out, got stuck back in that value area, getting stuck underneath that value area high, and we got to move below the POC to the value area low, right? So this is, we had the long setup, right? Not a short setup. You don't want to short on those big dumps down. You want to short on the deviations above, right? So longs at the lows, shorts at the highs is typically how I do it with the volume profiles, along with confirmations, right? I don't just typically just long the level. This is why I was just saying I don't set limit orders. I like to see those actual confirmations come in. But this is our volume profile, right? Now, if we wind up losing this range, guys, I want to talk about, let's see, shout out to Jesse, said, long at the 4-year cycle. Let's go, shout out to Jesse. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. What's up? I'm my hero. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. David Brumbelow in the chat. Good to see you in here, bro. He said, I hit it twice. I think I need to hit it again. Shout out to David. If you hit the like button, guys, make sure you hit it an odd amount of times. Let's see. Carrie Stressel says, my tip is to buy the dip. Shout out to Carrie. But yeah, this is, this is our main range, right? If we wind up losing this level, like what is the bearish scenario here? Now, as you guys know, we've been looking at these lower levels for quite some time. So if I go ahead and pull up our lower support levels here, as you guys know, I'm actually going to hide these blue boxes so I can actually talk about each individual level. But for the most part here, guys, we now have our golden pocket retracement sitting right here on our value area high / POC confluence, right? So that's kind of zone number one. If we continue down and we lose the volume profile that we're at right now, we dip out of here, we lose that low, very naturally, right? That next key level of support is going to be sitting here between the golden pocket and the POC with the value area high sitting just in the middle, right? Now, this is a level of support. However, and I want to talk about a key level that if lost, I will be expecting this wick to fill in full. If you guys have ever heard the saying, where it wicks, it sticks, there's definitely something to this, obviously. Oftentimes when you get these big wicks to the downside, price will come in and fill those wicks. But if we do come down, key levels of support, simply put, starting here, golden pocket starting at about 92,650, all the way down to this POC at about 91,230, right? So that's going to be that first zone of support, just like it was back here where we took a long position in the premium Discord to get this push back to the upside. And even on this big flush to the downside, we came into that same zone of support before getting a bigger bounce back up, right? Now, we are obviously potentially putting in lower highs here, and I'm going to talk about Market Cypher B in just a second and why we could potentially see this bigger drop down. But that's going to be zone number one of support. Now, simply put, guys, when you're looking at the volume profiles, once we start losing this POC, very simply put, lose that POC, we're going to be looking back down to potentially fill this range in full down to about $88,000. But it doesn't stop there, guys. It doesn't stop there. Obviously, we do have that value area low coming in at 88.2, and then the 786 is also coming in at about 89,375. But for the most part, right, if I hide these Fibonacci retracements, if we're just looking at this as a volume profile, you want to understand that those intermediary levels are there with the golden pocket, the 786, etc. But when you're looking in terms of the volume profile, very simply, right, when you have a volume profile with your POC so close to the value area high, I do like to picture this as somewhat of a zone, right? So if we do come down, you could bounce off the value area high, but once you start losing this POC, you could easily see a fill of that range down to about 88.2. Now, if we lose that level of 88.2, guys, I will be looking much lower. We do have this next level, which is a larger golden pocket retracement starting at about 87,663. But the 786 of this fib pull is sitting at about $82,000. Now, this is kind of where I would really want Bitcoin to kind of hold up support, right? If we start losing the 786, we may be in for a little bit of a doozy. Because if we do lose the 786, guys, we then really the next key level that we have to the downside is going to be the CME gap. Don't forget that we have that CME gap sitting at about $77,000. So if I type in, let me go ahead and pull up the CME chart real quick. Come on, TradingView. All right, so as you guys can see here, right, starting at about where is it? Right here, 77.9. This CME gap, guys. Hopefully we can hold this gap. If we cannot hold this gap, guys, at that point, this is where, in my opinion, things could get bearish. Now, again, this is kind of worst case scenario. I'm not saying that we are guaranteed to get a move down here, but it's an if this, then that statement, right? We just looked at the local levels of support down here. If we wind up losing all that and coming much lower, we really want to hold this CME gap, because if we do not hold this CME gap, guys, this is not what I want to see. Because if we do come back down here to retest the highs of these ranges, now, does this mean automatic bear market initiated, bull market's over? Not quite, right? You have to understand, right? When it comes to crypto, Bitcoin likes to cause as much pain as possible, right? So, if we do wind up getting a pullback down to the CME gap, what would that give us? To about 77.8, gives us about a 26% correction. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Frankie, there's no way that we could come down there. And while I hope we don't, right? Obviously, I hope we don't have to do that. But in a bull market, guys, a 26% pullback is not unheard of, right? A lot of people, they see up only, and they think that it's just going to be like that all the time, right? But it is not. We have pullbacks in bull markets. We do this almost every single live stream. We come back to the previous bull markets, and you can see, right? We have those pullbacks. There's a 16% there, about a 14% there. Down here, you had about a 30% pullback, right? Even here, you wound up getting a nice little dump of about 20%. But this was all as you were putting in higher lows and continuing to break structure to the upside. So if this cycle is going to continue anything like the previous ones, 25 to 30% dump is not unheard of in a bull market, right? So if we do see that, I would really like to hold this CME gap. If we lose that CME gap, guys, really the only thing we have left is to come back down here and retest the scene of the crime, right? Revisit the scene of the crime. As you guys know, you might hear people say that. All they mean is that after price breaks out, sometimes it likes to go revisit where it broke out from before getting another big move to the upside. Now, again, I hope we don't have to see this, right? And to be honest, I really don't want to lose that CME gap. But if we did, really the last line of defense is to retest these highs. Because if we do not get a bounce from those previous highs, guys, we could potentially get accepted back into this old volume profile, which nobody wants, guys. And again, this is very far away, right? This would have to be a 27% dump to the downside. Again, 30% is not unheard of in a bull market. But if we did come down here, you'll really want to hold this value area high at $70,000 all the way down to the POC at about 67,251. Now, again, I'm not saying that we have to come down here. It's an if this, then that statement. We have all this support in here that we just went over. This is worst case scenario. If we lose all of this, we don't come back to we don't get the bounces from the low here. And again, in a bull market, right? Like I'm putting a lot of weight on these support levels down below. But if things get very scary and we start losing these levels, this is like really where you want things to pick up, right? Because we get accepted back into this range. We're looking at much lower prices for Bitcoin, right? The good thing is we're very far away from that right now, right? Like we're still, from this value area high, we're still 27, almost 28% away, right? So we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but I just want you guys to have an idea of the context that I'm looking at the market in, right? Because remember, when you're looking at your volume profiles, if I pull up the VPVR real quick, you guys know, right? When we fall into these low volume gaps, which we do have, pretty much as soon as we lose this golden pocket, to be quite honest, we kind of have a pretty big fall off in volume here, leading us back down to reapproach, basically the CME gap, right? Which is, again, at about $77,000. And you can see this shelf of volume here. I really want to get rid of this plus sign, but I'm not going to go through trying to figure that out right now. You can see at about 77K, right? We also have this little peak in volume here. You know what? Maybe I'm going to do it, guys. Maybe I'm going to do it. Navigation, always invisible. Okay. No, that's still there. Dang it. How do I get rid of this? All right. I'm not gonna spend all the time doing this. I'll give it one more shot here. Always invisible. Was that it? That might be it. Nope. I'm gonna keep that normal. Whatever. I'll just leave it. But you can see here on this little shelf of volume where this plus button is, as you can see, where this level is, you can see, right? We have that little spike in volume, which is right on 77K. But, this could mean if we lose this golden pocket, guys, 786 sitting at about 81.9. But to be honest, you're kind of already breaking into that low volume gap at that point, and it could create a quick move to the downside, which would be extremely terrifying, especially for the new people in crypto. The people who came in while price was going up, everything was in a straight line. Even if they were buying on the way up, every time they wake up, prices are higher. This could be extremely, extremely scary for new people, right? But it would lead us right into that CME gap / ledge of volume here. Where we have the volume starting to pick back up, right? So this 77K is huge, right? Once we start losing that, like really the next tangible level is to come back down to these highs, which I really hope we don't have to do. But just to point that out, like show you the low volume gaps, show you like where there is a lack of support, which again is going to be basically through this whole volume gap, right? price likes to stick to the high volume areas, right? We're sticking around here. We built up this high volume area, right? We stuck around here for about 7 months where we have this massive high volume node. But in between, you have that big gap. Quick moves up oftentimes lead to quick moves down. And this is definitely a possibility of something that we can see happen. Again, I'm not calling for this to come in as of right now, but it is something we have to keep our eye on. So there you go. That's what I'm looking at to the downside. 77K CME gap. Please, for the love of God, I hope we just hold that. If we lose it, we're going to be in a really sticky situation because, if we get all the way back down to these range highs, this is going to be the reason I don't want to come down here, guys, is because it's going to be a really, really, really hard situation because the question is going to be, are we coming down to test this high before getting an absolute massive rip up to 150 plus K? Or are we going to get accepted into this range and get a much bigger drop to the downside, which, again, wouldn't really track? I mean, again, to be quite honest, not looking for a 43% dump, right? If we got that 43% dump, that would not be good, right? This would be very, very bearish in my opinion. But from the high all the way to this value area or these range highs up here at around, $70,000 is a 30% pullback. So it's kind of like that middle zone where it's like, should I be looking for gigalongs down here or should I be wrapping things up and getting ready for a much bigger drop to the downside? And that decision gets very, very difficult once we get to this level, right? So that's kind of why I want to hold the 77K CME gap. I don't even want to deal with these highs again. And God forbid we get stuck in this range, guys. We thought that range was gone, and if we get accepted back in there, I might have to go on vacation or something. But that's what I'm looking at, right? Like that's worst case scenario in the long term. Like maybe we come down to test that CME gap. That's really the lowest I'm willing to look. But I did just want to point out because we have been talking about it, those range highs at around 73K, starting at about 73,550, all the way down to the value area high at about 70K. That's obviously going to be a very, very key level of support, as when we look for support down below, guys, we're typically just looking at previous volume profiles, and this is quite a big one. So, again, not calling for that just yet, but it is there in case we do get scary drops to the downside. I want the Mafia to be ready with these levels, and not only with those levels, but the context of what we're thinking as we come down to those zones, right? But luckily, we do have a bit of support down below, right? We still have to break through all this stuff, right? Who knows what happens, right? But is it possible to get the bigger drop down? I will say, guys, if we take a look at the weekly, we have the weekly red dot. Technically, you have a bear div here, right? You have your higher highs on your price action, right? Lower highs on your momentum waves from a technical perspective. Now, again, in a typical bull market, if this is going to play out anything like the previous cycles, these weekly bear divs at this point in the cycle aren't necessarily like calling for zero, right? But it could easily call for a little bit more of a correction to the downside. Now, on top of that, come on down to the daily, right? We have that daily red dot printing. Let me hide this lower range real quick just so I can clean up the chart a bit. If we have those higher highs on our price action, right? Even from here, right? Like we technically have higher highs all throughout here, but even locally, you have the higher highs on your price action here, right? With your lower highs on your price action, on your momentum waves here, right? Whether you're pulling it from those waves or if you're just looking at the full lower high on momentum waves from here all the way back here. You have price coming up and momentum coming out, right? That gives you the bearish divergence. The red dot is printing, and this could mark, a little bit more of a cool-off, right? It's just definitely not impossible, right? And based off that, we could get a little bit more of a drop to the downside where we, again, have those local levels that we just looked at down below. And 85K is also going to be a key level I want to talk about in a minute as well, but bearish divergence on the daily, weekly red dot printing. We have a whole lot of other higher daily time frame red dots that are now confirmed. The 4-day, the 5-day, the 6-day. So this could potentially give us a more of a move to the downside. Now, on top of that, guys, we also have our money flow, right? Now, I always say you have to treat money flow a little bit differently in a bull market, right? When you're in a bull market and you see money flow, crossing over into the red on something like a 4-hour or even like an 8-hour or something like that, oftentimes you don't spend a lot of time in the red. More often than not, they're kind of like fake outs into the red, right? If we come up to the last money flow crossover into the red on the 4-hour right here, right? We were talking about the same situation, right? Hey guys, we're coming down. Money flow crossover into the red. This could give us a continuation to the downside, right? Because the money flow indicates the longer term trend. I use money flow as a filter, right? When money flows in the red, I'm focusing a little bit more on shorts for the day trades. But in a bull market, oftentimes it's very likely, this is what we were covering, right? Very likely that these are fake outs into the red before just putting in higher lows and continuing breaking structure to the upside, maintaining that uptrend, right? So you have to keep that in mind. I hate that that is the situation right now. I would really just rather come up here and be like, hey, guys, money flow's crossing over into the red. Super high confidence on shorting the lower highs. But when you're in a bull market, we could still trade like that. But in a bull market, you have to be careful, right? Because, again, we looked at this back here when we got that last crossover. And what happened? We wound up getting that fake out, right? So you have to be aware that that's how money flow behaves in a bull market. At least money flow crossovers into the red act in a bull market. But here we are again, getting more money flow crossovers into the red here on the 4-hour potentially. So if this money flow on the 4-hour crosses into the red, from a binary perspective, if we're just objectively looking at the chart, this would be a little bit more of a bearish scenario. On top of the weekly red dot and technically the bear div. On top of the daily bear div and red dot printing. We now have 4-hour money flow coming into the red. On top of the fact that with that daily red dot, guys, what do we look for on Market Cypher with the 1/16th Market Cypher B strategy? We have red dot printing on the daily. I go right down to the 90-minute and I look at what money flow is doing. Oftentimes, when you get a red dot on the daily with money flow crossing over into the red on the 90-minute, that 90-minute money flow crossover into the red is usually what starts the bigger move to the downside. We've seen this play out time and time again, not only with crossovers into the red, continuing those trends to the downside, but also the money flow crossovers into the green, continuing the trends to the upside, right? So this is just, there are some things lining up here for a potential continued pullback, which is why I like to pull up these local supports, right? Sitting down below. First level here, again, sitting between 92,680 down to the POC at about 91,272. Lose that. I'm looking to come down towards the 786 and then potentially down towards that value area low. It's a level-to-level game right now. I am trading very, very, very level-to-level. I'm not just... I'm not just like saying, hey, if we lose this value area low, we're definitely going, if we lose this value area high, we're definitely going down to the value area low. Because again, we may just see potential bounces off these levels in a bull market. We're in a little bit of a weird spot in the market right now because it's like hashtag bull market. But also, if we're going to get a bigger pullback, we might see that market structure change bearish, right? And push us further down to lower prices to get a bigger correction in before sending this thing up to God knows where, right? Hey, yo, Tom Crown in the chat. What is going on, bro? Welcome in, Tom. What is going on, bro? Good to see you in here. Shout out to Tom Crown. Rocking that mod status, baby. Let's go. Shout out to Tom Crown, guys. Show some love in the chat for Tom Crown. We need a Tom Crown emoji. Tony, can we make a... I guess there already is. There's a crown emoji. Drop a crown emoji in the chat if you love Tom Crown. Shout out to you, bro. The people are back. Shout out to Tom. They're back, Tom. They're back. They're back. Oh, God. I thought we were going to have to, I thought we were never going to hit a bull market. And now I will say this. I've been getting and here's the other thing, too, guys. I do want to talk about this a little bit. If you're scared right now, right, like just zoom out, right? I always say, when in doubt, zoom out. But I will say this, right? We talked about this on a live stream recently. There's those crowns, baby. Let's go. Captain Kirk dropping the tiaras. Hey, I guess that's a form of a crown. Here's the thing, right? Tom Crown and Gina. Shout out to Joker's Wild. But yeah, I will say this, right? Like, if we are going to get a bigger pullback, there are some other things that are lining up, right? Again, just to list off the bearish kind of puzzle pieces here, real quick. Weekly red dot and bearish divergence technically printing. Again, are we expecting that to bring us to zero or treat this how we would treat a bear div on the weekly in a bear market? No, but it's there. It could call for more downside. Daily red dot printing with the bearish divergence, right? That could easily call for more downside. On top of that, you have your 4-hour money flow coming out. You also have your 90-minute money flow about to cross over into the red, which we know oftentimes causes that bigger move down when it's in sync with a daily red dot, right? So we have that technically going for us, right, for a move down. On top of that, guys, we brought up that Haktua meme coin being kind of like a being a bit more of somewhat of a top signal, right? Not a top of the bull market forever signal, but a local top, right? Like, we got Haktua rug pulling coins. We have like a 13-year-old who rugged his coin for like, or a couple coins for like 50K or whatever it is. Like, I'm getting all the text messages from all my non-crypto friends. Oh my God, what should I buy? Is it too late? What alt should I buy? Is this alt season? We are getting a lot of the things that do point to local tops. Does this guarantee it? Absolutely not. But I will say, with the way the charts look right now, again, unless we just get hashtag bull market, remember, we have that fake out 4-hour money flow crossover into the red, right? Which is oftentimes what we're going to expect, right? No downtrend, just a higher low for continuation up. Could we continue to see that play out? Potentially, right? And we even go back to 2021, guys, right? Come on, right? If we come back over to 2021, we've done this a million times. Whoops. Come back over to 2021. Come on. Come on. There we go, right? So 2021, we talk about this all the time, right? In a bull market, right? It's technically 2020, but it's the 2021 cycle. 4-hour money flow crosses into the red right here. What happens? Higher low, continuation up. Bitcoin does not like to break those trends to the upside, right? It likes to continue putting in those higher lows, even on those money flow crossovers. But we still have to take those crossovers seriously, right? Because if we are going to get somewhat of a bigger trend down, even if it's for the short term, to come down, cool off a little bit before that next big leg up, we can't just ignore that, right? And then layer that on top with the Hawk to a meme coins, everyone and their grandma. I talked about to the premium Discord in our earlier live stream today that we had with the premium. Talking about how, you go on Instagram, right? Like, all the people I follow on Instagram that have nothing to do with crypto, even comedians that I follow, they're all making crypto skits, right? It's like that one crypto friend, right? Like, this is typically, not a good sign, right? At least for the short term. Now, again, does it mean it's the top of the bull market? No. Could it be? Maybe. But I don't think that's the case, at least as of right now. But it could just be a sign that we are ready to cool off just a little bit more, right? It's never that easy, right? If it was, people come in, they buy, everything's up, everything's green, everything's all dandy and stuff. But if you were going to think that it's just that easy, it would be very naive to think that, right? The market likes to scare you out, right? You look no further than 2020, right? No one knew this was going to happen, right? Everyone was like, oh my God, right? We bottomed out here at about 3K. Got a massive rip to the upside. Oh my God, this is the bull market. And then boom, Bitcoin went back down to $3,700. But what happened, right? That was really, all this was a 786 retracement in the long term, right? This was just a larger macro 786 retracement. If you come on over the weekly, you can see it really was just a retracement into that 786 before putting in a higher low and continuing up into the bull market. Now, I'm not saying this is where we are in the market, but I just want to show, right? Like, everyone's feeling really good here. Bull market's on, and then we get that drop and everyone's like, well, the bull market's canceled. But when you look in hindsight, it's really not, right? You have to have a long-term view on these things. And then 2021 happens, right? And we just go off into that bull market and we absolutely rip to the upside. Doesn't mean that it's going to rhyme exactly how you would expect. It's not going to rhyme. It's not going to repeat exactly. But oftentimes things rhyme. And really what I'm trying to get across here is that it's not always just so easy as getting in and just seeing green candles forever, right? So you got to be ready for something, who knows? Maybe we get a black swan event and something crazy happens here. But now you guys have all those key levels down below that I'll be looking at if we get the bigger drop to the downside. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Wick589. Thank you so much for the super chat, bro. He said, y'all say the oest of G's, and to Crimson, by extension, Dr. Crimson's girlfriend. Hey, shout out to Crimson Caravan Company and Crimson's girlfriend. Some of the oest of G's, like Wick and his wife, Fine89. Wick 589 and Wick's wife, Fine89. Oest of G's. OGs of the CandleMafia, guys. Some of the oest of G's. They've been here since day one. Isn't it crazy? It is, right? Like, when you shout out to Wick, when you've been here ever since the bear market lows, it is, people who have been here since down here, I think are less likely to be scared on these little pullbacks because we've just come so long, right? We've come so far. But let's see. A black swan. No. Shout out to Mad Ads. Obviously, this is not something that we can predict, right? So I'm not going to sit here and try to say, I think this black swan is going to happen on this day. It's impossible to predict. But, it is possible. It is possible. These are things that we have to keep our mind open to, especially as traders, right? Long-term investors, as a long-term investor, right? My long-term spot bags, I'm not panic selling. Now, if you took a little bit of profit off your Bitcoin, if you were buying down here, right? My average entry is between 20 and 21K. If you took a little profit off at 100K, you're not crazy, right? You got to pay yourself along the way. You're up 423%, right? And if you're new to this live stream or you're new to crypto in general, chances are you're not in from down here, right? You're probably in from over here if you were if you're the early gang of new crypto people, or you're probably coming in here if you're super, super new. And to be quite honest, you have to understand just the reality of the market. There's a lot of people holding Bitcoin from down here. So, and we hit 100K, right? And it's not an unlikely place for people to want to take profits, right? So, you're not crazy if you want to take some profits off the table up near 100K, but it's all about kind of where you got in, right? Because this pullback is very, very scary. This volatility is extremely scary if you entered in after Bitcoin got past 90K, right? A lot of people come in here and they're like, oh my God, I should buy this. I already missed a bunch of it. I don't want to miss the rest. But oftentimes that retail will come in and buy the top. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, you buy down here, these little pullbacks are not as scary, right? And it's okay. If you came in and maybe you bought the top, right? Just understand if it's your first time in crypto, it is like a it's like a badge of honor, right? You got to buy the top, at least on your first time. But it's okay, right? I do still think there's massive gains to be had going into 2025. Again, unless we see some kind of black swan event, right? So just, we have to, and especially as traders, right? My long-term investing, just to kind of break this down for anybody who's new, right? I'm a day trader, I'm a scalper, I'm a swing trader, I'm an investor, right? I do it all, right? But I separate my short-term trading, right? My day trades, my scalps, and even my multi-day swing trades. I separate those from my long-term spot investments, right? So as a trader, right, it's okay. These black swans are nice, right? Because if we do get a black swan, we're likely going to be in a short position and capitalize on that drop to the downside. But for the long-term spot buys, right, like my Bitcoin, we would literally have to come back down to 20K for me to be, even break even on my Bitcoin, right? So you have to have different plans for different things, right? You have to identify, what kind of trader am I? Am I just a long-term investor? You might be a hodler. That's totally cool. You do not have to be a day trader. You don't have to be scalping the 5-minute, right? As a matter of fact, if you're new here, I would recommend you start off buying some spot bags, learn about TA, watch this channel. It's basically a free trading course. We have a beginner series for you to start at, going over how to read a chart, how to set it up, what strategies you could potentially start using, support, resistance. We have everything covered here for you to learn for absolutely free. But it's okay to dollar cost average in to certain coins, whatever, and we'll take a look at the altcoins in a second. But separate yourself. You might have a full-time job and a family, and you have very little time to look at the charts. In that case, day trading is probably not going to be the best thing for you, right? Because it's going to take a long time to learn it. It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of focus to actually learn the skill. And then you have to put that into practice, very likely losing some money to the market, learning from your mistakes, right? Learning how to manage those emotions, etc. But if you're in that situation, you might be better off as just a long-term holder, right? I get questions all the time from friends and family, I even got a bunch of text messages earlier today. Should I sell? Should I sell? And I'm like, you have to have a long-term outlook, right? I'm not selling my spot bags here, right? I'm not just oh my God, we got this dumped to the downside. It's all over. Wrap it up, guys. The bull market's over, right? You have to have a long-term, and when you zoom out, you can kind of get a better view of that. If you're new to the charts and you're scared on this dump, start looking at the higher time frames, daily and weekly time frames. You're just this little bloop, right? Could it turn bigger? Absolutely, right? And again, daily bearish divergence, right? Could give us that bigger spill to the downside where we have those next key levels. But you have to separate yourself, right? What does your life look like? That will very likely tell you what type of trader you're going to be best going after, right? So there you go. Hey, shout out to Jessica in the chat. Is Jessica in the chat? Shout out to Dave Digital. He said, Jess, I think he's shouting out Jessica. Is she here? I don't see her. Shout out to Jessica if she's here. Princess, shout out to Jessica. Sarge? Yeah, hang on. Is Jessica here? Shout out to Jessica. Representing the female CandleMafia. I don't see her, though. Jess, show yourself if you're here. But yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents there, guys. If you're new here or just new in crypto, just take a deep breath, right? It doesn't just always go up and to the right. As a matter of fact, sometimes it really likes to scare people. Things like this, right? Even this would be very, very scary for a lot of people. Things like this is very scary for a lot of people in a bull market. Things like this is oh my God, everyone's calling for 3K. So just understand, this asset is very volatile, and these pullbacks are likely. So even if we come down, I'm not really freaking out. We have all those local supports. Again, if you're just tuning in, there they are, right? I'll zoom in to a lower time frame so you can actually see them, right? These are the next support levels to the downside, right? Assessing them as we come into them, right? Not just longing based off of tapping a key level of support. Shout out to Jesse. Said, when in doubt, zoom the F out. Yeah, it's very, very, very hard to, and I get it. It's very hard to do that, right? I was new to this market at some point as well, right? When I got into crypto in late 2016, or really early 2017, these very volatile moves, it's oh my God, this is going, what the heck? Stocks never do this. And it's kind of hard to get used to, but it is funny. People are oh my God, should I sell all my crypto? And I'm just I'm dead inside, right? I have no emotion whatsoever. And it takes zero emotion to be able to buy the lows, right? You can't have emotion to buy down at the lows, right? But yeah, that's what we're looking at, guys. If we get the bigger drop down, we're looking to come back in. If you missed these key levels, just scrub back to the beginning of the stream. We go over all of it and exactly what I'll be looking at. Now, the last level I do want to go over with you guys before we move on to some altcoins. Pennywise said that message is clown approved. Shout out to Pennywise. Shout out to Jixer. That's a motorcycle, right? Shout out to you, bro. Said not scared, but I got licked for $3,600. Shout out to Jixer, bro. Oh man, shout out to you, man. That is painful. Trust me, I know the feeling. I got liquidated probably more than anybody in here when I first started trading. But listen, take it from someone who went through the pain. When you get liquidated, there's only one reason you got liquidated. It's not because the market didn't do what you wanted it to. It's not because your trading plan, or it's not because your strategy was bad or your key level wasn't good. It is simply because you did not manage your risk properly, which is totally okay. Don't feel bad about that, bro. Like I said, I've messed this up way worse than anybody in here. I can promise you that. I've probably blown up more than the accounts than anyone could possibly open in the next year, right? But take that as a lesson. If you see you got liquidated, understand it's because of your risk management, your lack of risk management, not setting a stop loss, and maybe just kind of holding on to that trade, hoping for massive profits. But if you can identify that as the mistake, you have to accept that as a mistake before you can actually fix it. So hopefully you see that mistake and you can correct it moving forward. And sometimes you need to feel that pain in order to fix that mistake, right? It doesn't really help when someone tells you to do like, hey, man, set a stop loss. I don't want you to get liquidated. Sometimes you have to feel that pain of getting liquidated to be like, I'm never letting this happen again. And even then, sometimes it's hard to do. You have to make that mistake multiple times in a row sometimes. So keep that in mind. But don't feel bad about it, bro. It happens to the best of us. So yeah, don't. I almost got liquidated. Yeah, you got to, especially in this market, guys, these wicks, this is volatile. If you're in longs, right, you got to set those stop losses, right? Because if you don't, you could easily get liquidated. They will hunt out your stop losses here. So be very careful. Shout out to Thesis himself. Said, horsey sauce over Arby's sauce. No question. Hashtag Tyler D is not real. Tyler Durden, are you a robot? Are you AI, Tyler? Because you fooled me, bro. It says, hashtag new phone who dis, hashtag caught Tia at the GP. Let's go. Shout out to Thesis himself. Let's go. We were looking at some of these key levels on the altcoins, and we are going to get into the altcoins. If you guys want to see your favorite altcoins, go ahead and drop those requests in the chat. Please do not super chat your coins. We don't know what we're going to do. We cannot get to all the super chats of coin requests. We're only going to look at the coins that Rob requests, and then maybe we'll do some bonus ones, but please do not spend your money on a super chat hoping that we look at the coin. And if you do, just understand there's not a 100% chance that we do. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate the super chats. If you want a super chat, just say what's up, and we'll shout you out. But yeah, drop those in the chat. Rob the Crypto Stomp account at the votes and let us know what we're looking at. In the premium Discord for the alts, we were looking at all of our key levels, even on Bitcoin as well. Just looking at our volume profile here, looking at that value area low. Actually, let me, there we go. Looking at that value area low is our key level of support with confluence on that golden pocket. And not only did we come down and tap that golden pocket perfectly before bouncing, but we also came down to almost every single key level we looked at on the altcoins. And funny enough, I was talking about how quickly this market can move, guys. And we're looking at those lower levels that I'm like, guys, I know this feels really far away, but the market moves really quick. And then boom, at the end of that live stream, we saw everything start to tank down to those levels. And I'm just like, dang, this market really does move super, super fast. So first off, guys, let's see. Yeah, shout out to Captain Kirk, said TikTok gonna migrate to Polkadot, or so the rumor goes. Yeah, shout out to Captain Kirk. I'm going to look into that. We will take a look at Polkadot tonight. You don't have to put that on the list, Rob. Yeah, you don't have to put that on the list. We'll take a look at Polkadot, no problemo. I am only emotional when I'm human. Yo, shout out to Neil. Yeah, I am only emotional when I'm human too, which nowadays is not very often. I'm pretty much dead inside. Crypto is killed my emotion, guys. Even like Mrs. Candles will tell me a funny joke, and I'll be like, ha, 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 ha. Very funny. That was a hilarious joke. It's brutal, guys. Frankie ETH, please shout out to V-Sun, said, my brother threw in 6K yesterday on ETH. He didn't know what crypto is. He doesn't know what crypto is. Shout out to V-Sun. So, yeah, let's go ahead and jump into Ethereum. I will also take a look at Solana, Rob, so you don't have to add that to the list either. So let's go ahead and jump on ETH here. So, like I was saying before, right, like the key levels we were looking at, these actually remain the same as last week's live streams, right? Which is just simply put, we were basically bing-bonging around between these two volume profiles. And again, if you're new here, you're going to hear the term volume profile a lot. This is like one of the main tools that I use for my analysis, and it is the reason we're able to make a lot of these really, really good calls on where price is going to go next. If you want to learn about it, check the beginner series. We have some tutorials on it. If not, just follow along. You're going to pick it up quick. I try to break it down very simply. I try to not overcomplicate the TA, even though sometimes it is a little bit hard. But I try to talk in normal people terms because I'm a normal person, right? So I try to relay that in, so we're speaking the same language, right? But obviously, we have these two value areas, right? Value area number one, well, we actually had three value areas, just to kind of break down where we came from, right? We have this lower value area down here, which I'm not going to draw. I'm just going to rough it out here. Lower accumulation. We look for this to break to the upside, right, based off money flow. And if we got that break to the upside, we look to approach our previous area of value. Auction market theory, price always seeks fair value. This is how we're able to call for these moves, right? It's not just because I have a magic crystal ball. That might be part of the recipe, but it's not the whole thing, right? The volume profiles are a big part of it, right? They might even be the crystal ball, right? But once you get the breakout here, price is always seeking fair value. Fair value is within these volume profiles, between the value area low and the value area high, right? So your fair value is up here between this value area low and this value area high. Your fair value down here is between this value area high and this value area low, basically where you have ranges, right? So once you impulse out of or imbalance out of this area of value or area of balance, it's basically interchangeable there. When I say value area, I'm just talking about an area of balance, meaning an area where buyers and sellers agreed on a fair price for Bitcoin. When it gets above this level, it's too expensive, they sell it back into the range. When it gets below that range, they buy it back into the range, back to the high, so on and so forth, right? And this is how we catch all these trades, or most of them, and it's how we can predict where price goes, right? But that is what an area of balance is, or a value area. And anytime I say value area or area of balance, they're interchangeable. I'm just talking about a volume profile, right? So when you imbalance out of this range, you look for price to very likely seek out previous fair value, which very simply put is sitting up here in this upper range. What happens at that point? You look for price to gravitate towards this fair value because, again, price is seeking fair value. So it's going to come back up into this range very likely. You get in here, you flip that value area low to support. As soon as you hold that as support, the next likely place for price to go is the point of control of the range, right? The POC, which is typically somewhere very close to the middle of the range. What happens? We hold the value area low. You get the move right into the POC. You flip that POC. The next likely place for price to go is the value area high. And in that same manner, using that same theory, when you break out of this value area, you're going to be looking for the same thing, right? You're going to be looking for price to gravitate towards previous fair value, which again, we had another volume profile up here. What happens? You get the breakout of the range and price seeks out that fair value. Now, obviously, the value area lows, although they are doorways to higher prices, there's another doorway to higher prices right here. Although they do typically indicate that you could fill that range in whole, they are resistance until proven otherwise, right? If I come down to a lower time frame here, you could probably see that we did bang our head at least a little bit on this value area low, right? We come up, reject, but then eventually we come up, flip it to support, and then we go off into the POC. Same thing up at this higher value area, right? Once we break out here, we look to come in and test that previous value area low, right? Which is going to be resistance until proven otherwise, right? So we come up, resistance, come up, hit the POC, couldn't get accepted in, and now we're just kind of bing-bonging around these two value areas. So just like on Friday, the doorway to lower prices is your value area high. If you get accepted back into this range, bing bong, you can't get back out of here. You're going to be looking for a quicker move down towards that POC. You lose that POC, technically you have a spider line here sitting at about 33.50, 33.60, but once you really lose that POC, you could potentially anticipate a continuation down to the value area low. Now, I'm not saying we definitely have to come down there, right? We have to get accepted into this range first, which technically we came down, wicked to this POC of the range, which is the key level of support we were looking at on the premium, saying, I don't know if we're going to get all the way back down there, guys. It seems far away. And then, sweep, we come down and tap that level right as the live stream's ending. But if we can get accepted into this range, I will be looking down towards that POC being the next key level, which we've already tapped. Like, you can see how beautiful these levels are as well, right? You just come down in, tap right into that POC. So that is going to be your key level of support. I'm going to turn this blue for support, right? And I'll even go ahead and make it a little bit smaller, right? So that POC is going to be your key level of support. You lose that, you are definitely at danger of just getting fully accepted in to potentially move back down to the value area low. It's an if this, then that statement, right? And again, very similar to Bitcoin here. We have money flow coming out on the 5-hour, money flow coming out on the 4-hour, looking to cross over into the red. It's actually starting to cross over into the red. Remember, money flow indicates the longer-term trend. So if that money flow crosses over into the red and stays down there, we are going to be anticipating lackluster retracements to the upside to put in lower highs and continue down to the POC and potentially even lower, right? So we'll have to see what happens with that 4-hour money flow. And remember this, guys. Money flow indicates the longer-term trend. The green dots and the red dots indicate ebbs and flows. I don't want anyone getting that twisted, right? If this money flow crosses over into the red, sometimes what will happen, right? Like people will be like, well, what happened? Money flow crossed over into the red, and we got to bounce to the upside, right? The reason for that is because the money flow indicates the trend. Within a trend, you have lows, lower highs, and lower lows and lower highs, right? So in order to do that downtrend, more often than not, you will get bounces for pushes up, right? But you're looking to put in lower highs, right, to continue the downtrend. So you can get bounces in a downtrend, obviously, right? And that would be more signified by the green dots. The green and red dots, green dot, red dot, 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 right? But the money flow, right? Look at this crossover into the green that we had right here. It indicates that the trend is continuing to the upside. You can have pullbacks in that trend, right? It's okay to get red dots and pullbacks in that trend, but the money flow indicates the overall trend continuing up. Same thing here, but in the opposite direction, right? If that money flow stays in the red, right, we can get a 4-hour green dot, get a push up, but you would expect lower highs and continuations of that trend to lower prices. And now you have this beautiful context into where price is likely to go next based off these volume profile levels. This is why I love the volume profiles. It doesn't just give you levels. It gives you levels plus context into where price is likely to go next. This isn't just a level of support. We know if we lose this and get stuck under this level, it is likely to cause more downside to come to another very specific level, right? So this is how we make the decisions. So on Ethereum, right now, like you really want to hold this 37.14 level, right? But with the money flow, the way the money flow looks from a binary perspective, unless we just get a fake out of the money flow crossing over into the red, which is possible in a bull market. Unfortunately, I hate that this is the situation because you kind of just have to like look at everything. But technically, from a binary perspective, that money flow crossing over into the red would indicate the trend is continuing down or likely to continue down. So you get stuck under here. You're looking for that continuation down to the POC, lose the POC. 3360 spider line, lose that, could be coming lower. So that's what I'd be looking at on Ethereum, and it's very similar, right? Red dot is confirmed on the daily. You don't have the bearish divergence, which is interesting, and then you come up to these higher time frames, right? Like 5-day red dot looking to print, that could give us a little bit more of a pullback. But again, money flow, as long as this money flow stays in the green on the 5-day, and even on some of these other, 3-4-day looking to cross over into the green, this would indicate that the trend is more likely to continue up in the long term. This is confusing to a lot of people because we just said that the trend is likely to continue down, but this is on a 4-hour time frame, right? This 4-hour downtrend, it could easily just be a little downtrend, right, before putting in a macro high or low and continuing to the upside, right? So it's all about context, right? 4-hour downtrend can continue, but if you come up to something like the 4-day, right, it might just be a slight pullback to see that money flow cross over into the green, which would indicate the long-term trend is continuing to the upside. So a little short-term pullback potentially, but as long as this money flow continues up, right? Remember, red dots and green dots indicate the ebbs and the flows, but the money flow would indicate the overall trend, right? So that red dot might be able to pull you back a little bit, right? But in the grand scheme of things, once that red dot plays out, if this money flow continues into the green, you would be anticipating a much longer-term trend to the upside, right? And that's based off of what's on the charts right now. So those are the key levels I would be looking at. Your doorway to higher prices, in my opinion, is going to be kind of this whole zone, right? It's not just going to be the value area low. It's also going to be that POC of the range, right? So you got this, bada boom, shorts or, resistance, right? Level number 1, technical doorway to higher prices, 39.35. Flip that POC at about 4,100 bucks. Get above that POC / spider line. That would open up the door to come up to your value area high, making that, once you flip that POC, makes this the next likely place for price to go to be that value area high, 4,500 bucks. So that's what I'd be looking at on Ethereum. Money flow in the 3-day still looks pretty good, but again, short-term turbulence may be in store based off that 4-hour money flow, daily red dot, etc. All right, so there we go. Ada gang for sure. Shout out to Jesse. Let's go. Let's see. All right, let me catch up on chat real quick. Let me take a sip of that black coffee as well. All right, let's see. Jesse says Baby Doge. Let's go. I only own Pepe on that list. Shout out to Dave. Let's see. Is Dave doing our alt list today, or is Dave? I think Dave might be the altcoin man today. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Shout out to I think Rob left. So shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. But Dave Digital picking up the altcoins. Let's go, baby. I'm going to go ahead and pin that to the top of the chat here real quick. Hey, shout out to TFO. I don't know if I said that right, but shout out to you, bro. Thank you for the super chat. Say, can we take a look at ICP? I bought a lot yesterday. Yes, we could try to take a look at ICP, potentially. Friendly reminder, super chats do not guarantee that we look at your altcoin. I wish I could, right? To be quite honest with you, I wish I could just do that. But it's impossible. We'd have to be here for like 17 hours, which I wouldn't really mind. But, yeah, we'll take a look at Solana. Shout out to Gary. I'm going to take a look at Solana either way. Let me see here. Bada boom. Please hold. Okay. Let me just get a page out of a notebook here so I can start drawing this stuff. All right. So I'll try to take a look at ICP. Bada boom. We're going to go through the list first, and then we'll see if we can get to some extra requests. Again, you do not have to super chat your request. Peak is moving wild. Yeah, shout out to Peak. Real quick, I do want to pop in on this real fast. Peak is that low cap gem that we've been looking at for potential. Just like looking at it as it has potential, right? As a deep in play. Look at this. Ripped all the way down to that previous 786 and now pushing back up here. This is a low cap that I have been dollar cost averaging into. I've been talking about this for quite some time. I don't know what the market cap is now. I could try to see. It was low hundreds. Let's see what it's at right now. Yeah, so now it's at like $420 million market cap. But yeah, looking at this, as we had the pre-sale dump here, I was dollar cost averaging into Peak, and that has obviously played out very, very well. We've talked about this on the live stream many, many times. And we did top out right here previously on that Fibonacci extension level at about 69 cents. If we continue up here, I will be looking upwards of about 76 to 84 cents for Peak. Once we break above that level and we start to take those highs once again, I will be looking up towards that $1.11 zone leading up to $1.26 for potential new all-time highs on Peak. Really happy with how this went in. Wound up literally dollar cost averaging in at the bottom. I also bought a little bit up on the top just to beef that bag up a little bit, but got a really, really nice entry point here on Peak, and I'm glad I've been talking about it because we'll see. Well, no guarantees. You have to do your own research, guys. For all anybody knows, this thing can go to zero. Do your own research. But I just can share with you guys what I'm doing, right? You should never just copy what someone does on YouTube, regardless of how high their hit rate is or whatever. You have to do your own research. This is never financial advice. But this is going well. We've been keeping track of this, so we'll keep doing that, and we'll see if we can come up to those next targets for Peak. But yeah, I got a pretty heavy bounce here after tapping that 786. We'll see what happens here. Let's see that. 8-hour green dot potentially looking to print. Your 4-hour green dot is printing. 15-minute money flow coming off. Yeah, so we'll see what happens here, right? Obviously, if Bitcoin decides to absolutely dump on a black swan, everything is going to follow, right? So you have to keep that in mind as well. But let's take a quick look here at Solana, guys. Solana, another one that we were looking at in the premium Discord. This one in particular, I was looking at saying, guys, I don't know if we're going to come. It seems far away, but things happen very quickly in crypto. Right? So what is today? Today is the 9th, and we were live at, so we were looking at it like basically right here. We might have been approaching this value area high, talking about, hey, guys, this is a key level of support. If we lose this, we will be looking down to the daily 786 POC of the range and potentially even that value area low. And what happens? Huge wick to the downside right into that value area low. Obviously slipped it a little bit, but now we are holding above this 786, which is somewhat interesting here on Solana. So, yeah, almost all of these levels got tapped. But, yeah, as we look here, we lost that anchored VWAP. Key levels on Solana right now, I would be looking at this value area high at about 218. And then the POC of the range, which is, what is going on with this volume profile? Hang on one second here, guys. Where did I pull this? It's pulled from a lower time frame? Yeah. So, yeah, the POC, let me just label this really quickly. Oh, not previous POC. We just want a regular POC, dang it. Come on. There we go. Range POC, right? So as it stands right now, we've kind of got a full fill of that profile. We got back in. If you came to like a super low time frame, what happens? You get the dump down to that POC. This was, got that move down to the value area low, back in, back to the value area high, and we got another washout, right? Simple volume profile stuff here, guys. Get below the low. This is where you look for longs, right? Not that I long this, but you get back into the range, flip it to support. You look to go back to the value area high, deviate above the value area high. Once you get accepted back in, bearish retest, back to the POC, and then back to the value area low. Deviate below the low, back into the range, back to the POC, back to the POC, flip the POC, back to the high, right? Very simply put. So this is definitely going to be the volume profile I would be looking at for local context. Keep getting stuck underneath this value area high. I would look to rotate back down to the POC and potentially the value area low. I'm going to get rid of this blue box so we can just look at these separately now. I will hide this fib level. This daily is now tapped. So yeah, this is going to be the range. 218.62 value area high, 213.30 POC, 207.36 value area low. That's your local range down below. To the upside, if we do continue up, right? Which this actually looks a lot different than Ethereum, right? Like money flow has been in the red on Solana for quite some time here. 5-hour money flow has also been in the red, just crossed back over into the red yesterday. Take a look at the daily, right? Yeah, daily red dot printing also. Blood diamond on Solana as well on the daily time frame. This is typically not the most bullish sign ever, right? Daily blood diamond typically gives you a pretty big move to the downside. This last one gave you a drop of about 30%, right? Which is obviously not unheard of, especially on an altcoin in a bull market, right? I think we may have even gotten that. No, 15%. So again, doesn't mean we have to come down 30%, but that blood diamond is worth keeping in mind. So yeah, just like Bitcoin has the bearish divergence, right? Solana has the blood diamond. Those are the key levels down below, and that's what I'd be looking at, right? If we lose this low, we'll cross that bridge when we get there if we decisively lose it. But until then, your doorway to higher prices is very simply put. It's very similar to Ethereum where, for the most part, technically, are you kind of getting stuck in this range? Yes. But if you come back up here, right, you're kind of just in between two ranges, right? Your doorway to higher prices is this value area low, sitting at 229.56. You hold that as support. Next likely place for price to go is the POC and the value area high, right? And then the doorway to lower prices would be right here on this value area high, right? We get down here, we get stuck under this value area high. I would look for a fill of this range, right? So that's your doorway to lower prices. This is your doorway to higher prices, simply put. Now, again, money flow wise, 4-hour money flow has been in the red. Green dot looking to potentially print somewhat soon here. Let's check out that 12-hour red dot confirmed. Yeah, 16-hour money flow coming out, 12-hour money flow coming out. I wouldn't expect this to super deviate from what Ethereum is doing. But again, the 4-hour money flow does look much different, right? On Ethereum, you're just starting to get that crossover into the red. On Solana, you've been in the red for quite some time. So that's what I'd be looking at on Solana. And let me pull chat back up. Shout out to Mike Dutch. Let's go. Yo, Mike, Tony banned Mike Dutch. Said Peak was a good call. Yo, shout out to Mike Dutch, bro. Thank you so much for the super chat, bro. Guys, Tony, we gotta I don't know. We gotta make an emoji for Mike. Shout out to Mike, bro. Yeah. Shout out to anybody who saw that peak call. I will say, Mike, you do not have to do this, bro. Thank you for showing so much love recently, Mike. I appreciate you. Shout out to Mike Dutch and Tino from Traders Reality, guys. Make sure you guys go check them out. I appreciate you so much, Mike. And Mike was crushing some trades, I assume, because he's been showing a lot of love to the Mafia and us just in general. So we appreciate you so much. Drop some love in the chat for Mike Dutch, guys. Drop those we got pattern watchers emojis, guys. If you have a membership, drop that pattern watcher emoji. Let's go. Darren says Mike Dutch. I appreciate you and Tino. Yeah, guys, if you're looking for some fire content, you guys know who our friends are. Go check out Tino. You guys know Tom Crown. Go check out Tom Crown. Mike Dutch. The Bruce Buffer emoji. Drop that Bruce Buffer emoji, the pattern watchers emoji, if you got them. And we did gift a bunch of memberships last week, so hopefully people, a bunch of people have memberships now. But yeah, shout out to Mike, bro. Thank you so much. You don't have to do this, bro. I appreciate you, though. Appreciate you so much, bro. But let's see. Okay, so with that being said, that's what I'm looking at on Solana, guys. We'll see what happens. I'm waiting. I'm playing it level to level, as I said before. Quick check-in on Bitcoin real quick here. Still kind of meandering. We don't like when Bitcoin meanders, guys. We want big, violent moves. We want strong moves up, strong moves down. This thing is just like... We don't like that, guys. We don't like that. This is talking to the premium Discord today. Not really high probability. The real setup that we were looking at in the premium Discord today was not to basically come down to this value area low, right? I don't know if I even have this. Do I have this? I don't even know if I have it marked out anymore. But yeah, coming down to this value area low was kind of the first sound setup. I took a tiny little scalp long here. That got stopped out. But yeah, there was pretty low probability here, right? Like, I don't like taking trades in the middle of a range. This is why I like the volume profiles, guys, because it gives you, even if it's not going to be the best setup in the world, the volume profile will give you at least a high probability area where price is undervalued, meaning that even if you don't get the bounce all the way from the value area low to the POC to the value area high that you would potentially expect, when you're looking for longs at lows, when price is undervalued based off the volume profile, it's at least very likely to get nice bounces to the upside, even if that is to just put in lower highs and continue to lower prices. When you're looking, this is why, taking along here. It's like, hey guys, I'm taking a potential stab here if we see certain signals, but it's not super high probability. I'd rather wait for that value area low. And you can see like this. Sure, we got a little bit of a move up. This was almost instantly in profit, but then quickly eaten back up. Right? And then where'd you get the much bigger move from? The actual confluent level. Multiple levels of confluence. And more importantly, you're not just longing at a POC. And like the reason this is such a dangerous long, in my opinion, is because when you come down to the POC, sure, you could long this, but if you get stuck under this POC, the next likely place for price to go is that value area low. Why would you long against that? Now, I did, right? But obviously, managing that risk very tightly. I understand the risk, right? So I adjust my risk according to the probability of the actual setup, right? Sometimes I use the same risk. But in that particular case, the reason I identified this as somewhat of a low probability trade is just because, it's in the middle of the range, and you have that POC as resistance right above, and if we get stuck under there, very likely we come down to that low. And what happens in the long term? Get stopped out, and we just come down to the higher probability setup anyway, where we actually did get a tangible, almost 4% pump to the upside for much more profit, right? So yeah, just a little lesson on the volume profiles there. But yeah, just kind of meandering around here, not really loving that on Bitcoin. Let's see. What are my long? Shout out to Tyler Rayburn said, what are your long-term thoughts on XRP? $5 to $10. Five to. I'll talk about XRP in a second. I'll show you the actual. I'll show you the actual set or the actual levels, the actual targets to the upside. Shout out to LV23. Says, hey, Frankie, big fan. What volume profile do you use? What is the name of it for an indicator? Shout out to LV. This is just a free tool on TradingView. Simply put, a free tool on TradingView. If you want to check it out, just come on down. If you have TradingView, I don't think I always forget this. Like either the visible range volume profile or the fixed range. This is the fixed range volume profile. This is the one that I use. I believe this is free on TradingView. You just come on down to your tools. 1, 2, 3, 4 tools down. Open that draw. Come on down. Volume based. Fixed range volume profile. I have videos in the beginner series. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss any important updates. But check out that beginner series on the playlist on the channel because I show you how to use them. So there you go. And shout out to Lux Algo, guys, sponsor of the channel. Ton of free, we'll talk about this. They have a ton of free indicators. They have amazing premium indicators. But if you can't get access to this on TradingView, go ahead and check out Frankie Candles. Type in my name in TradingView, the indicator section, Frankie Candles Essentials by Lux Algo. Make sure it's the one by Lux Algo here. And this is a free, shout out to Lux Algo, a free volume profile tool. Just search my name, click it, get it on your chart right away. No strings attached, no email, none of that garbage. Get in, put it on your chart right now. You can follow along. But this is the same thing, right? It's a fixed range volume profile because if you do need a paid version of TradingView and you only have a free version, you can use mine. And you could just pull it the same way, right? Like the same way I pull my other profiles, I would pull the Frankie Candles Essentials. You can see the range is exactly the same. You can't even see the difference here. Obviously, if I turn off my actual profile here, you can see the Frankie Candles Essentials profile. And this is also souped up a bit. People love this indicator, guys. The Mafia loves this indicator. It does give you, it's a little souped up, right? Because you do get, I don't want to say entry signals, but you get confirmation signals, right? So if I come on over here, I change my, it has auto divergence detection. There it is. So I turn on Market Cipher B, right? It tells me when I get those confirmations to potentially look for a long position back into the range, back to the value area high. In this particular case, I'll just mark this out as a volume profile, right? There's your volume profile. You deviate below the low, you got to move back up to the high, deviate above the high. Once you come down here, you see the auto divergence detection. You see this little sauce can emoji letting you know that, hey, you're getting bullish confirmations as price is deviated below the volume profile, which is where you want to look for longs. You cannot just long sauce cans. I will never try to sell this, even though it's free. I would never try to tell you guys that this you just buy on the sauce cans and sell on the sauce cans. It's not how it works. You have to understand how the TA works, obviously. But it is nice to kind of show you guys what I look for to actually trade these volume profiles. So you can go check this out. It's 100% free. And check out Lux Algo. Link in the description down below if you guys are interested in their premium indicators, which we go over all the time. But let's go ahead and move on real quick here, guys. Peak on the rocket fuel. Let's go, baby. Let's go. I haven't checked my peak. Let me see here. I haven't checked my my actual long-term. Not that I short-term traded peak, but let's see here. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's check it out here. Peak. Yeah, not too bad here. Not too bad. What is my Hang on. All right, not too bad. Not too bad. Let's go. Shout out to Peak, baby. Shout out to Peak. Literally bought into that pre-sale pressure at the perfect time. Right into that pre-sale pressure. Not too shabby. My average entry on this is actually, this is why I always praise, dollar cost averaging, guys, especially when it comes to your longer term bags. My average entry price on Peak is 27 cents, right? So started buying here, bada boom, buy. Even bought up a little bit as well for an average entry price at about $27, 27 cents. Sorry. So yeah, there we go. Not too shabby. Up 172% from that entry. But there we go. Let's see. Creighton C in the chat. What is going on, Creighton? Dr. Crimson's girlfriend. Welcome in. I think you've been here, but shout out to you. That's the first time I saw your name come through chat. Nice peek to the moon. Let's go. Shout out to Fed Bomb. Let's get it. All right, let's continue on here. So we took a look at Solana. Let's go ahead and jump into this alt list. Baby Doge. I mean, hey, people are calling out Baby Doge. Let's take a look at it for the Mafia here. Oh my God, it's going to $1 million. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. I'm not gonna lie. I was actually looking to pick up some Baby Doge. Not super recently, but like a couple weeks ago, I was looking at Baby Doge and I was like, yeah, maybe I'll load up on a bag of this. I didn't. But that's okay, right? You can't catch them all. It's like Pokemon. You want to catch them all, but sometimes you just can't, right? So, again, not FOMOing in here. But, I will say this, guys, on a lot of the altcoins, right? Now, again, short of a Black Swan event, short of Bitcoin going back down to 60K or whatever it is, short of any of that happening, these 3-day money flow crossovers into the green are, on the 3-day, are very, very, very good signs, right, for the most part, right? Especially if we are actually entering that part of the cycle where altcoins start to go crazy, Bitcoin's at all-time highs, right? Ethereum's starting to get a little bit of tried to get a little bit of a breakout here. If we see the 4-year cycle repeat somewhat, we don't really get a ton of these 3-day money flow crossovers. Now, obviously, Baby Doge only comes back here to 2022, but, money flow crossover into the green on the 3-day wound up resulting in a 386% pump. Next 3-day money flow crossover into the green wound up giving you about a 200% pump to the upside. And now, arguably, with all the other altcoins starting to run and the fact that we are potentially looking to break out of this lower accumulation zone, again, this is a meme coin, obviously, so take that for what it's worth, right? Just understand, right? There's like no real, at least as far as I know, not that all meme coins are useless, but most of them have no use case. Doesn't mean you can't make a ton of money off of them, but just keep in mind, this is a meme coin. Could be very volatile. But if we actually get a break out of this range here, we could potentially be, looking at a nice 3-day money flow crossover here, right? The 2-day money flow crossover is already intact here. Take a look at the 4-day. We're going to start running out of information here on Market Cypher. 5-day, 5-day money flow crossover into the green. This doesn't look that bad. Again, it doesn't mean that it's just going to go up in a straight line. You could pull back, right? But over the long term, weekly money flow crossed over into the green as well. Yeah, this is probably, in my opinion, right, unless the whole market dumps, this could be the breakout for Baby Doge, right? And the reason for that is you have your fair value, overvalued, undervalued, right? Go from the low to the high, overvalued again, back into the range, back to the low, undervalued, back into the range, back to the high, overvalued, back into the range, back to the POC, back to the low, undervalued. At this point, with this money flow crossover on the weekly, people always tell me, Frankie, I get the profiles. I've watched all the tutorial videos. Thank you for showing me the volume profiles. But how do I know if it's going to be more likely to, when it does break, right? Now, although price ranges about 80% of the time, it doesn't mean that you're going to range forever, right? Like you're going to get a break up or a breakdown at some point, right? So how do you identify that? One way you can do it is by looking at money flow, especially higher time frame money flow. So this weekly money flow crossover is the first legitimate one that we've had on Baby Doge. Could indicate that this was the breakout and could potentially cause that much bigger trend to the upside. So yeah, I mean, I'm not telling anybody to FOMO buy this right now, right? You do get a pump, but that money flow doesn't look that bad, right? Short-term noise, probably going to be very likely, right? But, daily red dot looking to print, not impossible to get pullbacks off of that. But in the long term, right, this weekly money flow crossover does not look too bad on Baby Doge. So there you go. And then the key levels to the downside, if you do get a retracement, right, or you get another pullback to lower prices, key levels that I would look at would be, number one, I would look at this golden pocket sitting I'm not going to call out the number because I don't want to butcher it for you guys. You guys can just grab this level and, screenshot it. I don't know how many zeros are there. But your first level would be this golden pocket sitting right here. I'll put some lines on here so you can actually see the actual number. Come on. Boom. Right? And then we get another one right here. Boom. Right? So those are going to be, that's the first golden pocket, right? And then your 786 is perfectly in confluence with your value area high, right? So if you do want to come back down and potentially test this golden pocket for a higher low and a bounce, that could be an area to look for it, right? And if you could wick down to that 786 to retest that value area high of the previous range. So that's what I'd be looking at on Baby Doge. Not looking too bad as far as high time frame money flow goes. All right, let's see. Hey, shout out to Zach Leroy. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you. He said, trying to get a hold of you, emailed you on your website, contact us, email. Get back to me if you can, please. You're the GOAT. Shout out to Zach Leroy. Shout out to the GOATs. I appreciate you for the super chat, bro. And shout out to at Tony D. Let's make sure we don't forget that. Shout out to Tony D. So shout out to Zach. We will try to get back to you. I'm sure Tony D is probably already in the email reading your thing. He might even be getting back to you right now. But yeah, shout out to Zach. And shout out to Trade Made, baby. Trade Made, what is going on, bro? He said, Frankie, can I get some bada boom on Sui? Yeah, we can take a look at Sui real quick. Is it on the list? It's not. Shout out to Trade Made. I'm gonna get through some of the altcoins on the list real quick, and then we'll go into Sui. And then we did have another one that I was gonna try to look at, which is going to be ICP. So there you go. So that's what I'll be looking at on Baby Doge. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at Pepe. All right, so on Pepe, kind of really haven't had too much go on with Pepe recently, right? We're still looking at the same. This is pretty beautiful, if I'm being quite honest with you, right? We have our spider lines on Pepe, guys, and we drew these kind of experimentally. I'm not going to lie. They low-key hit. But we got the move, break of the all-time high here on Pepe. We pushed into our first Fibonacci extension zone, which had confluence on this spider line, right, which is basically what we're rejecting right now. I will say you do have a daily bearish divergence looking to print on Pepe. Could be, right on that spider line, right? So it could get a little bit more of a correction there off Pepe based off that daily bearish divergence and red dot looking to print. 90-minute money flow, kind of flat, to be honest. If this was coming out, that would be very, very nice for a potential push down. But yeah, daily bear div looking to print here right into that spider line. And if you break above this, like the next zone remains the same as what we've been looking at recently on Pepe is between about 31.72 and 35.63. I think that's 5 zeros, maybe 4 zeros. I don't want to butcher it, but screenshot those levels so you get the correct number. But that would be the next Fibonacci extension level. And you guys can see here, once we actually started getting the top to come in here, right, or this previous local top, you pulled from our low to the high, giving us this golden pocket here for a potential either long position or just a buy the dip scenario for another push to the upside, right? Because we're looking for this trend to continue up. You're looking for the high, the higher low, and the higher high, right? And we did get that right into that golden pocket because where's that highest likelihood area to put in a higher low? It's going to be on that golden pocket or 786 Fibonacci retracement. And it did come in here on the golden pocket. But I would be careful of a potential pullback here based off that daily bear div if it starts to print. We will start printing that daily candle. It already did, right? So yeah, we'll see. We still have to see if that winds up printing. But if it does, I would call for a little bit more of a cool off here on Pepe. But those are the next targets to the upside. If you do cool off, let me go ahead and just hide these extension levels real quick. And I will pull another golden pocket here, which is probably going to be confluent. There we go with that POC. So locally, kind of hard, right? I would probably look at this as somewhat of a bigger zone, right? Between the golden pocket, POC, and value area high. And then you have another level down here at the 786 value area low, right? Within your overall local volume profile, right? So let me go ahead and drop the levels on here. So in case anybody wants them, POC, value area low, right? So yeah, we'll see if that daily bear div winds up printing, right? You could get a drop down into that key zone. Golden pocket, POC value area high. You lose this, I'd be looking down towards that 786 value area low. Very simply put. Start losing that, we can assess the situation when we get there. But that's what I'd be looking at on Pepe. Quick and dirty on Pepe, baby. Let's go. Shout out to David Brumbelow. Shout out Mike Dutch. Let's get it. Let's see. Dips for everyone. Shout out to Obi-Wan. Yeah, let's go, baby. Let's go. Shout out to Nas. We actually already, or NAS, we already did take a look at Solana. If you scrub back just a little bit, we dropped Solana. You can check out the sauce there. Let's see. Oh, yeah, XRP as well. Shout out to Tyler Rayburn. We will take a look at XRP as well. XLM. Let's take a quick look at XLM. Let's take a look here. Going to zero. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. XLM and XRP, absolute rippers. Absolute rippers. So, again, nothing can go up in a straight line forever. Sometimes it goes up in a straight line, but it can't go up in a straight line forever. So let's go ahead and mark out some levels here. So I'm just naturally going to pull this. I'll be honest. Yeah, I mean, obviously looking similar to XRP, but I will go ahead and pull this local profile from back here in 2021. This is basically the range that we're sitting in, both for XRP and for XLM, right? And I'll show you what I mean on XRP in a second. And I will also go over my long-term kind of plan for XRP. I will say, like, just a quick warning, I'm not going to give you the $10,000 price target or $100 price target. Is that possible? Not my opinion, at least as far as, if you know anything about market caps, people who want it to go to 10K say that market cap doesn't matter. I'm open to the idea that maybe there's something I'm missing. But as far as everything I know about trading, market caps, and crypto, $10,000 for XRP is basically impossible, at least in the terms of like anytime soon, right? The market cap would have to be huge, but I also have heard, I really don't know the argument for 10K, but apparently people say that market cap means nothing. But if there's anything about market cap that I know, it's that it definitely means more than nothing. But yeah, who knows? I hope XRP goes to 10K, but that is not the targets that I'm going to be looking at. But I will show you exactly what I'm looking at. Simply put here, right? Like, shout out to the volume profiles. Shout out to anybody who has XLM right now. Let's see. Algo. Maybe we could take a look at Algo too. Yo, shout out to Gen Z. Said market caps are an illusion. Send it to $1 million. Let's go. Shout out to Gen Z. Yeah, market caps aren't real, guys. But anyway, yeah, like we're just within this profile, right? Like simply put, you have your lower range that you traded around in for what felt like forever, which was almost forever, basically. Full 2 years down here, basically. You impulse out of this range, you're going to look to get accepted up to, or you're going to look to seek out that previous fair value. Where's that previous fair value sitting? It's sitting right in the value area from above, starting here at about 25 cents. Once you get above that level, you're looking to flip it to support, and you're looking to get your next move into the POC of the range and then the value area high of the range. Once you get above that value area high, you could be looking at that as potentially overbought, right, or overvalued because you're above that value area high. Cheap down here, get into the range, look to fill the whole value area. Get above, this is expensive, look to sell it back into the range. Get stuck under this value area high, you're looking to come down towards that POC, lose that POC, look for a move down to the value area low. And I don't know if we're definitely going to get down to that value area low, but based off the laws of the volume profile, you would at least be looking down to that POC. If not, if you lose it, you're looking down towards that value area low. Now, if we go ahead and let me just pull some fibs here. Okay, so you do have some confluence there. And yeah, so the POC is going to be a big level, right? So even if I just pull this from where we got kind of pumpy, impulsive right here to the high, golden pocket is holding up right now, at least as far as of right now. POC 786 is going to be your next key level to the downside, sitting at 33 to 31 cents. Once we start losing that level, that's where you can start looking down towards that value area low at about 25 cents. But again, level to level, those are the key levels to the downside. If you get a rip to the upside, which again, is that going to be likely based off market cipher, right? Again, high time frame money flow in the green. This would make us anticipate lackluster retracements for higher lows and potential continuations up, even if you wick down to that value area low. Looking for the overall trend to continue up potentially here based off money flow on the higher time frames. 4-day money flow crossing over into the green. Weekly money flow is also in the green. This is a pretty big sign. But if we take, even the daily, I'll be honest, this looks a little different here, right? Money flow in the green on the daily. VWAP rounding off here. This looks potentially like you could look to print a bearish divergence on the daily, but in order to do that, you would have to come up and crack these highs. So I would potentially... it's not enough for me to say, hey, this is probably going to bounce and break the high. but it is looking somewhat different, right? We don't have a daily bearish divergence here. We don't have money flow. Actually, let's check the 4-hour. Might be similar in this case. Yeah, money flow's already been in the red here for a little while, so this does look a little different. But again, like you really got to get above this value area high. If you have any opportunity or any chance of coming up for those highs again, you got to get above this value area high at about 44 cents. You get stuck underneath here, I would probably, again, like money flow's not looking as, I don't know, 8-hour money flow looking pretty bearish here. So I'll give you the support and resistance real quick. Pull up the 4-hour. Yeah, I would be looking at this as key resistance, right? Because if you are going to look for the downtrend to continue, which again, it's a little harder to call for on XLM, just because, you know, your 4-hour money flow is already in the red, 8-hour money flow looking to cross over into the red. But if you do get a retracement here in the shorter term, right, this doesn't have to do with the 3-day money flow. The 3-day money flow is good, right? That's in the green. If we come down to this value area low, we could easily continue to trend to the upside. This would not invalidate, what I'm about to say is not going to invalidate this just yet. But if you're looking for this 8-hour money flow to maybe give you a continuation of the trend down to the POC, down to the value area low, I would be looking for a potential lower high. Let me pull up an anchored VWAP here real quick. Whoops. Where are we at? Right there. Yeah, I mean, I would be looking at this golden pocket 786 value area high as your key level, right? If you do get a bounce up here, I would potentially be looking for some short positions back down to the POC, right? If this money flow is going to play out. But in the grand scheme of things, key support, right, in the long term for higher lows and potential higher highs. That's what I'd be looking at on XLM. Real quick, let's jump over to XRP while we're on the subject of coins that almost look exactly the same. So here's the level we were looking at on XRP in the premium live stream. POC, like we, got the move down there almost to tap that previous point of control / golden pocket. Same thing here, right? Deviate above the high, look to get back into the range. Deviate above the high, back into the range. We can't get back above this value area high at $2.52. We just look for price to naturally gravitate towards where? The POC of the range. We start losing this golden pocket POC. Just like when you lose a POC of the range, you look to go to the value area low. When you lose a golden pocket, you look to go to the 786, which are both confluent here at the value area low, which is sitting at $1.60. So these are just, simply put, the key levels I'd be looking at for XRP. Now, as far as your next targets to the upside, my long-term thoughts on XRP. Again, I have targets to the upside. If we are able to break into new all-time highs, which is sitting at about $3.31, if we can crack above here, the next target to the upside for me is going to be about $5.28. Notice this is not anywhere near $10,000. If I cannot in good faith come up here and tell everybody to hold their XRP till 10K. Could you hold on and somehow magically get to 10K? Maybe. I would be a happy camper if that were to happen. But if we get into the all-time highs and break this level here, I would be looking for our first target to be about $5.28, with the second target sitting at about $8.51. I will be reassessing the situation at these targets. If it's not looking good, I will take more profit than if it's looking bad, right? Or if it's looking bad, I will take more profits than if it's looking good. But these are the next two targets to the upside, $8.51 to $5.21. Cycle all-time high between $5 and $14, right? And then that's kind of, can it go higher than that? Maybe. But that is like really what I'm looking at as of right now. I will reassess the situation at these higher targets. One thing I am not doing is holding on my XRP for $14 or $20 or $100, even worse, right? I will be assessing the situation at each target and taking profits accordingly. So there you go. Those are my next two targets. There are a few more. Maybe I'll do a pre-recorded XRP update where I go full in-depth of what I'm looking at. But again, like even in the grand scheme of things, right? Money flow crossover into the green here on the 5-day, looking pretty good. Again, even if you pull back, you have plenty of room to come down, cool off, put in some higher lows, and then continue your move up, right? Nothing go up forever in a straight line. Shout out to King D. Shout out to you, bro. Said, thank you for the super chat. He says, when you pull a volume profile, do you only do it on the higher time frames to get your levels? Shout out to King D. I do it on all different time frames. It depends on the context of what I'm looking at, right? For these volume profiles, right, I had to pull these. It really depends, right? You could pull them on your higher time frames, or you could pull them on your low time frames. They work exactly the same on every time frame, right? Just like we have fair value here, and we know that once price comes up to that level, this is our doorway to higher prices. Once we break it, you look to go to the POC, we lose it. resistance, 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 and then once we finally break above it decisively, you go to the POC and the value area high to fill that range in full. Same thing here. If I go to a lower time frame, it looks like you just ripped through all this, right? But if you come to a lower time frame, you will see that all these levels were respected beautifully, right? Come down even lower, right? You hit your head, you flip it to support, POC, you get the reaction at the POC, you get above it, you go to the value area high, cool off, eventually you break out, come up to your next level, value area low, acts as key resistance until proven otherwise, right? Once you get up here, flip it to support, you look to go to the POC and the value area high, right? But if I wanted to pull this on something like a 1 minute, right, it's the same exact thing. It's the same exact thing, right? It doesn't matter what time frame you're looking at. Now, it'll be a little bit, like obviously I would not hold as much weight on a 1 minute profile, right? If I were to pull this volume profile here, right, I'm not going to put as much emphasis on this tiny little 1 minute volume profile as I would on something like a 4 hour volume profile, right? Or a daily volume profile. But typically, in the context of the 1 minute, what happens? You come up to this level, you flip the value area low to support. Where do you go? Right up to that value area high, right? Same thing here. You lose this value area high, you go to the low. You get down to the low, you go back to the high. Deviate, back in, bearish retest, back down to the low, right? The volume profiles are very, look, you even respect it over here. But again, the 1 minute volume profile is not going to be, I'm not going to put as much weight on that as I would on a daily profile, if that makes sense. Hopefully, that gives you an idea of how I do it. So let's go ahead and continue on here. We got XLM, SEI, GRT. I'm gonna take a look at ICP real quick. We're probably not going to have enough time to look at all these altcoins, but we will do as many as we possibly can. Let's see here. ICP. Bada boom, bada bing. How are we doing on time here? Okay, yeah, we're running out of time. But we'll keep it up. We'll keep it going here, right? So once again, right? ICP. These are the levels we've been looking at on ICP. Get out of this range. Look to get into your upper value area, right? You get back up above this value area, flip it to support, POC, flip the POC, value area high. Once you get up here, this is what you're looking at as an overvalued asset or an expensive asset in the context of the profile. Get stuck back in here. You could even see, right? Very often, very rarely will you not get the bearish retest, right? You come in, right? But line that up with the actual value area high, right? You drop in, bearish retest, and then you get accepted into the range for the bigger drop down, right? Where are you looking for price to go? The POC, which doesn't look like you got much respect on that POC. You did. Look at that. You bounce off the POC, you lose it, bearish retest, bigger drop to the downside, another bearish retest, another drop to the downside, and now you're kind of just in no man's land here on ICP with a potential continuation looking to happen down to that value area low. The value area low is sitting at 1025. This is going to be a key level of support. I actually don't hold as much ICP as I'd like, so I actually wouldn't hate if we came down here. But these are your levels. Value area high at 1493, POC at 1289, value area low at 1025, and hopefully showing you guys how price interacts with these levels shows you, right? Like name your coin, right? Any of those profiles that we were looking at as price was tapping up against these levels, a lot of those altcoins are probably getting rejections from here and either at their POC or losing their POC and coming lower. And it just has to do with the volume profiles and how reliable they are, right? So if we come down to that value area low, 1025, that's going to be key support. If we lose that, I'd be looking to come down to your, again, just simply put, back down to your accumulation range. Value area high is your key level of support. Hopefully we don't have to see that. I would not really like to see a move all the way back down here. I'd like to hold within this upper profile, maybe bing bong around before another big move up. If we go ahead and pull some fibs here real quick. So yeah, we bounce off a golden pocket here. Yeah, so this value area low is also confluent with this 786. So I would definitely keep an eye on this level. Shout out to ICP. All the clowns out there, all the insane clown posse fans, shout out to you guys. But yeah, there you go. Those are the key levels I'd be looking at. Now, is it looking similar to ETH with the 4-hour money flow coming out? It does, right? So that continuation down, I'd be looking at this as our value area. Let price settle, wait for it to come down to a very key level, which in my opinion would be this value area low 786, and then reassess the situation. Just like we look for the overvalued altcoins here, we look for the undervalued altcoins on the deviations below the profile. And then maybe we can look for an opportunity to long it or look to pick up a little bit of a spot bag. I will personally be doing that if we come down there, potentially looking to buy, as long as things don't look absolutely horrible. Shout out to Gene Lee. Okay. All right, so we took a look at XRP. We took a look at ICP. Let's take a look at Cardano. Yeah, we could take a look. Shout out to Kay. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He said, hey, Frankie, any chance you could take a look at Cardano? Yes, we can. We'll go ahead and check it out here. So this is, this is the live stream chart. So let me just go ahead and update this because these purple boxes were resistance on our way up, right? So these are obviously no longer, well, there might be resistance again if we keep coming down. But let me just clean up this chart because these are a little bit older. So that is, we broke above that. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Did we hit that POC? We did. Look at the rejection on that daily naked point of control / POC of the range, guys. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Like, I think I'm going to go on a world tour just trying to have you heard about our Lord and Savior volume profile? I don't know. It's just like it is the most powerful tool that I have ever come across, right? I don't really consider it an indicator, right? I consider it a trading tool. I don't know how people look at the market without the volume profile. I'd be lost, right? Absolutely insane. Let's see. TradeMate said, don't forget about Sui. Man, did we not do? Oh, we did Sui in the premium live stream. Guys, I mean, this is my almost fifth hour live here. It was live with the premium Discord. I forget what I look at. So, yeah, I will try to take a look at Sui. Yeah, shout out to TradeMate. I got you, brother. Let's see. Okay, so on Cardano, let me see here. So, yeah, we broke that. Okay, so that's irrelevant at this point. Weekly naked point of control has been tapped. I can get rid of this as well. So, yeah, I mean, what do we look at on ADA in the grand scheme of things? Lower accumulation. You break out. You look to come up to that value area low of the larger range. This is pulled from the 2021 bull market, right? What happens? You come up, you front run the value area low, you come back down, you get accepted back into your range, you come down to the value area low. Again, this is an undervalued asset. You would look to pick that up for a potential based off money flow coming up here aggressively on the 3-day. You would look for this to break to the upside. Not guaranteed, but it would be somewhat probable to see that break to the upside. Where are you then expecting price to go? There's two main areas, right? You have your value area from 2024, the highs that you made in 2024, which is sitting right here, which obviously we've already come up to. Right, but I'm just bringing it up for educational purposes. If you're looking to learn the volume profiles, I know this helps people out, right? Come down to a lower time frame. What happens? We come up into that volume profile. We go to the POC, back to the high, bing bong around a little bit, finally break out of there, which brings us to the 2021 value area, pulled from the 2021 bull market high. I mean, even if you get rid of this, right, like just from a long-term perspective, this is fair value. This is fair value. When you impulse out of this fair value, price is not going to range forever, right? Once you impulse out of this fair value, price is going to seek out previous fair value sitting up here. Once you get above that value area low, where are you going to look for price to go? Once you get above it and you flip that value area low to support, you get up, flip it to support, you're going to look for price to go into that POC. Bing bong, right? And now we're getting resistance at the POC, which is not uncommon, but makes your key level right here 89 cents. If you could hold above this, we could potentially reapproach that POC, break above it, and then look for a push up towards that value area high at $1.80. Now, obviously, there is going to be intermediary levels in between, which I'm not going to bring up right now because we're not really ready to break the POC just yet. But there is going to be intermediary levels, right? Potentially in this area of consolidation, right? So I guess maybe I will show some of them. Pull this little range, right? And I won't mark them all out. I'll just draw the box so you guys can kind of see that, right? So again, overall, if you hold this value area low, I would anticipate a push back up to the POC, flip the POC, look to go to the high. But you have this other volume profile sitting here with your POC at about $1.34, right? So you have this volume profile here, right, which could give you a little bit of turbulence, right? You might kind of bing-bong around there a little bit, but once you get out of there, you're going to be looking for that value area high. So that's what I'd be looking at on Cardano, but beautiful, right? You just come right up to that POC, and you get the rejection. So this is your key level of support. As long as you hold above that, I'd be looking to bing-bong around within this range, right? Now, from a market cipher perspective, looking similar to Ethereum, right? Money flow crossover into the red, could easily give you continuation down to play around with this value area low. If you lose that value area low, yeah, man, I would say you got quite a big drop down to this value area high. I don't know if you're going to get that, what is this, a 50% drop? Yeah, 60%. I don't know if you're going to get that. But you do have some value built over here, right? So that's where I would kind of pull this range. Maybe even pull this range. Little local value area. Could pull this potentially. got your high, your POC, your value area low. So, it would probably, you could see we respected this range, rejection, get back above, POC value area high, then you break out. So if you do come back down, I will say, let's pull a little bit of a Fibonacci. So yeah, it's not the best confluence in my opinion, but that would definitely be the value area that I would look down below. If you lose this value area low, I'd be looking to come down and play within these prices between about 65 and 79 cents. But until, you got to lose this doorway to, you got to lose this key level first, right? So your biggest level right now is about almost 90 cents, right? Hold 90 cents. You could bing bong around in here, lose it, come on down to this lower volume profile. So there you go. Hopefully that helps you out, brother. Shout out to Tony D. Thank you for the super chat. Said, guys, we're so close. Get us 90 more likes. Let's go. $100 in Salon on Friday's giveaway. Added to the tally if we get 1,000 likes on tonight's live stream. Shout out to K-Dub. What is going on, bro? K-Dub says, GG. GG, bro. I don't know if you're headed out, but if you are, have a great night. All right, let's see. All right, let's take a quick look at Sui. Trying to get a look at as many altcoins as we possibly can. Yeah, we were looking at this on the premium live stream. That's why I thought we looked at it. And shout out to who wanted Sui? Honest Crypto. Oh, no, Honest Crypto wants SEI. I forgot who asked for Sui, but here we are. Okay, so let's see here. Let me actually pull up the live stream chart real quick because that is where our actual Sui chart is. Okay, so let's take a look here. Coinbase, is this it? I don't think this is it. Yeah, this is, you can't make it up. These are the key levels that we were looking at on the premium live stream. Next key levels were the value area high. Obviously, we lost that. We came right into the golden pocket, POC, daily level to get the bounce. Like these, and this is kind of a wide range, but we did wick right all through all of it and hold the bottom, which is pretty crazy. Was like literally we were looking at this not that long ago being like, yeah, I know it seems far away, guys. Like, what is this? Today's the 9th? Yeah, literally we were like sitting somewhere up here. Like, I know it seems far away, guys, but if we get some kind of washout, you could be looking at these levels and potentially even the value area low. We front ran that value area low, but we did get that drop. So pretty crazy to see that. But just in general, yeah, look at the top of that daily. Whew. So right now, this is your volume profile, right? Like if you get stuck, accepted back into this value area, I'll actually get rid of this as well. This daily is now tapped, 786. Technically trying to hold here. So if you don't hold this value area high, I would say look for acceptance into the range, back down to the POC, back down to the value area low. Like this is your local range down below. This is sitting between 377 at the value area high. Your POC is at 343, and your value area low is at 329 or 330. And then your value area from above, right? If you were looking for shorts potentially, right? Money flow crossing over into the red. So that does make us, obviously we're in a bull market. You want to remember that. But this does make it somewhat valid with money flow coming out on the 4-hour to potentially look for shorts on the way back up. In which case, I would be looking at our upper value area, right? We basically just failed auctioned this. Let me pull a fib here as well. Let me pull it from the absolute high to the low. Pull it from here. I don't love the confluence, but I would probably look between that POC value area low, 786. This would be a key level of resistance, in my opinion. And then this golden pocket would also be a key level of resistance. And let me see if I can get an anchored VWAP from the high here. Yeah, so these would definitely be the two key levels I would be looking at. If we are going to continue down based off this money flow crossing into the red, and we're not just going to, bull market fake out back into the green, which is possible. If we come back into the red, maybe we get a little bounce here when we get that green dot. Could look for potential lower highs, because where are those lower highs likely to come in at, guys? Golden pocket, 786 retracement between those two levels. And in between those levels, you have an anchored VWAP, you have the value area low, and the POC. Right? So if you don't get the rejection from the golden pocket, I would be looking up here for a potential lower high for a continuation lower in anticipation of this money flow coming back out into the red. Right? Now, if money flow fakes into the green again, then maybe you just go. Right? But again, with the way things look right now, at least on Market Cypher, it does look like it is at least possible to get that continuation to the lower prices. And that's what I'd be looking at. Those are the key levels. Very simply put, to the upside, next big target, right? Like I said, we came up. Once we broke that all-time high, we were looking at those Fibonacci extension levels. Target number 1 was sitting up here, which seemed crazy at the time at about $4.34. But what happens? We come up, we tap it, and we get the cool-off. So if we continue up, right, next target would be about 491 for Sui. That would be the next target, right? And you do have your daily bearish divergence, which is already confirmed, right? This is all printing on Bitcoin, but this was already confirmed on Sui. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at on Sweep. Shout out to JB. Says smash that like button for Frankie Candles. Let's go. Shout out to JB. Smash it for JB if you're not going to smash it for me. Let's see. Shout out to Chris. Said F YouTube can't keep us up to date on a live stream. What did YouTube do? Shout out to Chris. Is YouTube not notifying people of the live stream? If so, let us know. We'll have to contact our peeps over at YouTube. Let's see. Shout out to Smash Toshi. Smakamoto said, next cycle, Frankie is my financial advisor. Just going to throw money at him. Shout out to Smash Toshi. Just a reminder, guys, I am not a financial advisor. It's not financial advice in any way. It's just my personal opinion. So there you go. All right, let's see. Jordan said YouTube was a half hour late letting you know. What the heck? Shout out to YouTube. YouTube dropping the ball. We love you, YouTube. Don't be late on us, though. All right, let's see. All right, so we took a look at XRP. We took a look at Sui. We took a look at Cardano. Let's take a quick look. Shout out to Mike Dutch, bro. Shout out to Mike, bro. Thank you so much for the super chat, bro. Yo, Mike. Tony, we need to do something for Mike, bro. Mike is showing so much love, bro. We're going to show up to Tino's live stream tomorrow. Shout out to Mike, bro. I appreciate you so much. I don't know what to say, dude. I genuinely appreciate you, man. Thank you for showing so much love. He says YouTube notifications are broken. And more importantly, bro, thank you for bringing the important information. YouTube notifications are broken. Unbelievable. Somebody call, I was going to say Steve Jobs, but that's not who you would call for that. Anyway, let's continue on. Mike, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's see. Shout out to Bailey says, I never get notifications on your stream, even with the bell on. Interesting. They're trying to suppress the sauce, guys. They're trying to suppress the sauce. Unbelievable. Let's see. Dot. Okay, so let's take a quick look. Not like you could call him if he was the right person. Shout out to Tony D. Yeah, that was actually that was very yeah, you're right about that. Wow, dang, now I feel like garbage. Shout out to Tony. All right, let's see. We're gonna twerk these vector candles. Let's go. Shout out to Jesse. All right, let's see here. Let's take a quick look at Polkadot. Let's take a quick look at Polkadot. So Polkadot, how's Tia doing? All right, Tia's still staying alive. Ha, 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 ha. Staying alive, staying alive. Mrs. Candles, if Mrs. Candles is watching the stream right now, she's crawling under a table. I'm telling you that right now. My life mission is to embarrass Mrs. Candles, guys. But anyway, let's see here. So, yeah, Polkadot. Ooh, baby. Oh, God. Polkadot, go up, buddy. Go up. Come on. Don't fail us now, Polkadot. Don't fail us now. I'm just joking. In the grand scheme of things here, guys, money flow crossing over into the green. Is this immediately alarming with this red dot? No. Could we continue down? Potentially. If we do, remember, we have our volume profile below. Your key level is this value area high. Range, value area high. You have your POC sitting right here. You have your value area low all the way down here. For the love of God, let's please not come back down and visit this. I really don't want to do that. Money flow crossing over into the green, right? Nothing goes up in a straight line. We'd have massive, massive rip here on Polkadot. 216%, right? This is very unlikely to see this happen with no pullback, right? And I know it gets scary out there if you're new to crypto. Oh my God, what happened? My money stopped magically multiplying 5 times every day. This is okay, right? Doesn't mean we can't come lower though. So value area high sitting at 857, almost 858 is the key level. We get stuck underneath here. I will be looking for a bigger move down on Polkadot, down towards that POC, sitting at $6.38, right? Hopefully, we can just hold that, right? Because if we pull our fib here, you can see it is confluent with our golden pocket. I will be watching this golden pocket retracement in line with that POC. Make that blue for support. Let's pull that anchored VWAP as well. Okay, so we did tap our anchored VWAP, so hopefully we don't have to come back down in here. But this would technically be the next confluent level between 673 and 633. That's your key level of support, your next key level of support. 786 is sitting between 542 or 786 is sitting at 542. That would be another level to watch. Hopefully we definitely really don't. I would really prefer not to come down here. But those are technically the key levels down below. If, right, this 3-day money flow crossover is going to continue into the green, I wouldn't really see much of a problem coming down here, coming back into the range, testing that POC, and getting another big launch out of here, right? I would not see a problem with that. I would rather not see the 786, but if we come down to that golden pocket, this is okay in my opinion. I would hate to I really don't want to come back into this range, right? Because I want everything to go up as fast and as much as everybody else does, but we have to be realists. When we can see the charts like this and we can see what's more likely to happen, we have to keep that open mind. But that's what I'd be looking at, right? Those are the key levels on Polkadot. 3-day money flow crossover into the green is there, right? So you could make that, potentially anticipate that continuation of the upside. So there you go. And then again, if we see this continue up like many other things, right? We could potentially get that push up. Value area low would be your key level of support. Flip that to support. Technically your PLCs right after that, but when you have those value area lows and POCs or any value area level close to the POC, it kind of makes that a zone, right? Because at the end of the day, if you get up here, right, technically the doorway to higher prices is your value area low, but then, boop, you're right into your POC. So I would look at this as a zone. Once you flip that POC, that's where I'd expect the full golden pocket 786 retracement to come in on Polkadot between about $35 and $44, right? So there we go. And it does look like I was hoping with a lot of these altcoins that we've been talking about, I've been hoping for some kind of retracement back into lower prices so I can have some more time to accumulate. And it does look like this may have been it, right? Bitcoin on the move. Shout out to Mike Dutch. Let's go. Shout out to you, bro. Dude, the super chats are crazy. How much did you buy a peak? Shout out to Mike Dutch. Spreading the love, bro. I genuinely appreciate you so much, man. Good people over there at Traders Reality, guys. Let me tell you. And if you don't know who Mike Dutch is, guys, we kind of look at him as Tino's Tony. He's like Tino's Tony. When Tino has technical difficulties, I'm pretty sure Mike fixes it for him, just like Tony does. I'd be lost without Tony, and I don't know. I can't speak for them, but it sounds like Mike is Tino's Tony. But anyway, let's continue on here. Bada boom, bada bing. I have too much peak. Shout out to Mike Dutch. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to Mike Dutch. But let's see. Bitcoin on the move. Thank you for that alert, Mike. And here we are. Oh, she's pushing up. She's pushing up. Let me pull up the actual chart here. And, as we are, pull up the levels. Boom. All right, so we'll see here. We'll see. What happens, right? We dip into, let me hide these setups. Shout out to anyone in the premium Discord. I always say, guys, I don't use limit orders, right? And that's for a very specific reason. It's just because when we come down to a level, right? Like if this was just going to be a big liquidation hunt, right? And we were going to come fill the rest of this wick. If I don't see confirmations here to enter along, I don't necessarily want to enter the trade, right? I want to sit out and wait for the next key level, right? And that's why I don't typically use limit orders. I will use limit orders in certain situations, but for the most part, I like to market in. Yes, I pay more fees. No, I don't care, right? If I had a limit order set here, it was like basically instant profit here. Looking to come down to that value area low, but unfortunately, I know some people in the premium did catch that, but I like to see those confirmations, so I did not personally take that trade. But the levels do hold up beautifully. And simply put, guys, you can't make it up, guys. If you take anything away from this live stream, especially if you're new, if you are, welcome to the CandleMafia. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notification bells so you don't miss updates. Welcome to the best community on YouTube. But if you take anything away from this stream, go study up on volume profiles. If you don't know where to learn for free, you can just check the YouTube channel. We have tons of tutorials in the beginner series to teach you the beginnings of how to use these volume profiles. And what happened here? You deviate above the high, you get stuck below your value area high, go to the POC, go to the low, hold the low, back up to the POC. If we flip the POC, we can look to come to the value area high. Very, very simply put. And we're just seeing that play out right now. So we'll see what happens here, guys. We'll see what happens. Is that daily bearish divergence going to, it's confirmed now, was that all we got? Are we just going to continue trending up here? Or are we going to see that money flow on the 4-hour cross into the red and give us a continuation down? Are we going to see that daily bear div give us a bigger correction to the downside? Very hard to say, but what I can tell you guys is these levels are very, very strong. They're very reliable. And we're going to keep trading this thing up and down no matter what happens, because here on the Frank Candles YouTube channel, guys, I show you how to make money trading Bitcoin, whether the price is going up or down. So whether we dump down to 80K or we rip back up to 100, we're going to be making money over there in the premium Discord and on this live stream if you know how to use the information right. But shout out to the Candle Mafia, guys. With all that being said, I think that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. I will see you guys here tomorrow. Same place, same time. 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to Chris. Said 1,000. Oh, and we got 1,000 likes. Let's go, baby. Shout out to everybody who smashed that like button, guys. We will be giving away $100 on Friday night's live stream, and we'll see if we keep hitting these like goals, guys. We'll just have a new giveaway to do on every live stream. Maybe tomorrow we'll give away some hats if we hit a like goal, or maybe just some more Solana. I don't know, guys, but we love to give back to the Candle Mafia. So with all that being said, guys, my favorite lesson from Frankie: I no longer care about price. Seek parabolic. I love that. I talk about this all the time. This is actually worth jumping back in to the charts real quick. I always say this. When it comes to trading, guys, I don't care, right? Like on long-term investments, obviously you have to pay attention to price, right? Because if I'm looking to buy Bitcoin, right, like buying down here, if you're holding for a whole cycle, right, like you want to get the best entry, right? That is, you want to get a low price, right? In this case, price matters, right? Because you want to buy cheap Bitcoin and you want to wait till it goes up to sell it, obviously, right? But when it comes to short-term trading, the way I look at it, right, is I don't even care, right? Because I in the premium Discord, like I do see, like even on the live stream, I see a lot of people who, they always feel like they might have missed a move, or they don't know if they should enter because price already moved. And when it comes to me, right, like I said, although we have the setup here in the premium Discord for the long position down here, am I tripping that I missed this long position? Absolutely not. And why is that? It's because it doesn't matter. I'm not trying to catch a long here in anticipation of getting a good entry to hold up to 100K, right? Or 200K, whatever it is, right? All I need for day trades or scalps is motion in the market. It just needs to move up or it just needs to move down, right? I don't care what the number is. If you deleted all these numbers off the side of the screen, it would not affect my trading at all. Now, to be honest, it wouldn't even affect my long-term investment, right? I'd rather see it for my long-term investments, but at the end of the day, a chart is a chart, and all we need is price to move. I don't care if from here to here is from 90 to 100K, or if it's from $5 to $10, or if it's from $3 to $8. It doesn't matter. All I need is the actual movement to make money, right? So when it comes to short-term trading, like I don't recommend people focus on like trying to catch the bottom and hold for a massive move up so you can get a good entry. Like all we need is to trade this volatility. So shout out to Seek Parabolic. That's a little bit of a hidden, really, really fire thing to take away from what I teach. But shout out to everybody in here. I appreciate every single one of you guys today. No SEI today. Sorry, Honest Crypto. I do not have time, but we will try to take a look at it tomorrow. Dave, Darren, any of the mods, if you guys can just remember to put SEI on the alt list tomorrow. We will definitely take a look at it for you tomorrow, brother. But yeah, shout out to everybody in here. Shout out to the Candle Mafia. I appreciate every single one of you guys from the bottom of my heart. I will see you tomorrow, right here. Same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Turn on the notification bell. That's all I got. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong!
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them two bells ready. Space shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, all they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working, I'm up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
shall we take a look at SEI? Maybe we'll take a look at SEI here on the Frankie Fake Out here, as we are approaching a pretty key level, if I'm being honest, right? 2024 highs up here. We're going to do a speed run on SEI, guys. Here we go. Did I scare anybody? Popping up like that? I love, that's my favorite message is when I come back on for the fake outs. People are like, Jesus Christ, oh my God, you scared me. Anyway, here we are, right? We got the value area low, the POC, the value area high. You can see we made a run very similar to Ethereum. I'm sorry, not Bitcoin, Ethereum. We got to break into that value area low, which is technically your doorway to higher prices. We broke above it, went into the POC, and got the rejection here, right? We actually put in a daily bear div, which gave us the higher highs on price action, lower highs on our momentum waves for that bigger correction to the downside. And now we are hanging out below this value area low. So if, let me zoom out here a bit, if we do wind up getting accepted outside of this range, I would be focused on this next little lower volume profile. Let me go ahead and POC, whoops, come on. There we go. Value area high, right? So yeah, this is your lower range on SEI. Value area high coming in at about 57, almost 58, or 57.7, 0.5779. Lose that value area high, look to come to the POC at 53 cents, and then lose that POC, look for that bigger move down to the value area low at about 48 cents. And yeah, that's pretty much what I would be looking at. As far as moves back to the downside for SEI. Now, again, taking a look at Market Cipher, money flow is in the red here, which, again, oftentimes calls that bigger trend to the downside, right? And what happens? You get your trend back down. So if that does continue, not impossible to get a bounce here. But these are really the two, just because your green dot on the 4 hours looking to print potentially here. But yeah, daily bear div may have played out here, potentially. But these are the key levels I would look at. If you continue down, your real key level that you don't want to lose is about 48 cents. If you hold that, I'd look to bing bong around in this range. If you can get a pump back to the upside, I would look to reclaim that value area low and then look for that move into the POC, flip the POC, and go to the value area high. So there you go. Quick and dirty on SEI. I wanted to cover it. I forgot who asked for it, but hopefully they didn't leave yet. Hopefully they stuck around for the fake out. And if anybody knows who was asking for it, go get them back in here to show them that TA. But with all that being said, guys, that's all the time I got for tonight's live stream. I will see you tomorrow. Same place, same time. That's all I got. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go.
double Frankie fake out. I tricked everybody in here. Let's go. Shout out to Creighton C. I missed his super chat, bro. Shout out to Creighton C. He said, there you go. 1K likes. I take full credit. I just saw Mrs. Candles. She was listening to the Bee Gees and doing the hustle. Yo, shout out to Creighton C. Thank you. I give you full credit for those likes. And Jesse. You got to share it with Jesse because I know Jesse been pushing those likes. But shout out to Creighton C. Thank you so much for the super chat. And yeah, that's all the time I got for tonight, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same time. You know the rest. Hasta pasta. Frank Candles out. Bing bong.